Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. We are about to start this afternoon session. Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and also distinguished guests, friends coming to this session, this afternoon session. As we already observed during this whole week of the Clean Energy Forum, a lot of competitions among the sessions. And again, on behalf of the organizer, Lei Zhang's team and Energy Foundation China and Green Finance Association from Beijing, thanks for choosing this session for this afternoon. And the topic is about net zero carbon development in the industrial park. We have full of panels of speakers, and before we start the panel discussion, let me just quickly welcome you to this event. And to kick off the event, we are very pleased to hear three opening remarks from three esteemed leaders who will share their visions with us this afternoon in the next session. I would like quickly introduce each of them, three of them. First one, Mr. Liu, E.D. Liu, is our executive director at the ADB board from PRC. And in his current term, he looks after ADB's overall operations, and particularly from the PRC angle, how to protect the interest of PRC, but most importantly, to make sure ADB's operation in the right direction in the Asia Pacific region. The second speaker is Professor Zhou. He is the CEO and president of Energy Foundation China. Energy Foundation China is also one of the important organizers of Clean Energy Forum and play important role in the clean energy community, particularly in China, but now beyond China, a lot of knowledge work, important research and contribution. Together with ADB, a lot of meaningful projects, activities have already been done in the past. If you recall, last year, two MOUs were signed, one at the corporate level, the other one at the project level, with Energy Foundation China's team's contribution. All works are moving very positive forward, and we look forward to Energy Foundation China's continued support in the future. And the third speaker is President Wu from Beijing Green Finance Association, and it's also the co-organizer of this event. And without any further ado, let me welcome E.D. Liu, become the first speaker who will deliver the opening remarks on behalf of ADB. Welcome, E.D. Liu.
Thank you very much, I mean. Professor Zhou Ji, President Wu Ruchuan, distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends, very good afternoon. It is a great pleasure and honor to deliver these opening remarks at today's deep diving workshop. Closing Borders, Integrated Solution for Net Zero Carbon Development. On behalf of People's Republic of China at the ADB, I would like to thank the Energy Foundation China, the Beijing Green Finance Association, and the ADB Energy team for jointly organizing this important event as part of the 20th Asia Clean Energy Forum. The theme of this year's ACEF, Empowering the Future, rightly underscores innovation, cooperation, and financing as the key pillars that will shape the region's energy future. Today's session focuses on an issue that lies at the heart of this transformation: net zero carbon industrial parks. In the PRC, industrial parks are central to economic growth and innovation. They are also energy-intensive and emission-heavy, accounting for nearly 70% of national energy consumption and 31% of total greenhouse gas emission. Clearly, if we are to achieve national and global climate goals, we must start where the emissions are concentrated. But more importantly, we must view these industrial parks not as challenges, but as opportunities. The concept of net zero carbon industrial parks offers a powerful model, a model that brings together clean energy, smart infrastructure, circular economy, and carbon management into an integrated ecosystem. These parks are not just cleaner, they are more competitive, more attractive to investors, and more aligned with future trade and climate frameworks, including mechanisms like the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism. In PRC and other countries, we are already seeing encouraging results from pilot parks that have demonstrated the viability of combining renewables, green buildings, energy efficiency, low carbon manufacturing, and the carbon sinks into a unified development strategy. The pioneering example shows that sustainability and economic competitiveness can go hand in hand. However, challenges remain. Scaling these solutions across regions, aligning them with international standards, and mobilizing the financial required are not easy tasks. That is why today's workshop is so important. I hope today's session will illuminate real-world successes from the PRC and beyond, generate actionable insights on how to overcome barriers, technical, institutional, and financial, and explore how ADB and development partners can support developing member countries in integrating these solutions into their national strategies. Recognizing the challenges as well as the development potential concerning net zero carbon industrial parks, PRC, going forward, will try its best to further facilitate the development of net zero carbon industrial parks. In this endeavor, we expect ADB to deepen its cooperation with PRC by providing more financial and technical support. Simultaneously, we encourage ADB to act as a platform to further strengthen knowledge sharing between PRC and other DMCs. I'm especially pleased that later today, ADB will sign a memorandum of understanding with the Suzhou Industrial Park Administrative Committee. Suzhou has been a national leader in innovation and sustainable development. This MOU will strengthen our joint efforts to explore project opportunities, support capacity building, and deepen knowledge sharing across borders. Dear guests and friends, as we look to the future, let us remember that the road to net zero will not be paved by technology alone, but also by collaboration, commitment, and courage. Let us continue to work across borders and sectors to build a cleaner, greener, and more inclusive Asia and Pacific. In closing, I wish you a productive and inspiring workshop ahead. Thank you.
Thanks for Edie Liu's sharing about his vision. I don't know how many of you have already visited Edie Liu's office. You know, he sits at the ninth floor of this building, which is the highest level of the building. And that's our board member workspace. Because he sits at a high working space, so his vision is always bird eye view, and just like the message he shared with us. And thanks for Edie Liu's expectation to ADB. As I mentioned, you know, the board members really guided ADB's operation, and your vision, particularly about the financial and technical support from ADB to promote the net zero development in industrial park, as well as knowledge sharing. It's not just about the knowledge inside one country. Here, I saw so many Chinese colleagues, but also other countries' colleagues can share your rich experience about every perspective of clean energy development, including the industrial park. So with this kind of peer learning, it will be strengthen the net zero development in industrial park. As Edie Liu said, the future, the vision is very clear, but the journey is not very smooth, could be very bumpy and up and down. So with this, I would like to invite the second speaker, Professor Zhou, CEO and President from Energy Foundation China. Professor Zhou, welcome you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The opening remark, I would like to make three points. Number one, the significance of industrial park. But certainly, I would like to start with the role of industrial sector, in the context of bending curve. I mean, to make the emission trajectory decline. So this is our vision. And anyway, in China, in major economies in the whole world, the emission trajectory should be curved, should be banded over time. So we have very limited time ahead, only 2 or 3 decades. I mean, to the middle of this century, we have to make to achieve net zero emission for the global economy, including the major economies. I mean, U.S., Europe, China, maybe India or Indonesia, major emerging economies. No need to say this region. I mean, Asia and Pacific region covered by ADB's scope. I mean, will take lead, will play central role to determine the overall trends of emission trajectory for the whole world. So, but no need to say industry. So China has experienced the process of industrialization in the past decades. But I would assume in this region, I mean, for example, our partners in Southeastern Asia, in South Asia, in Middle and Western Asia, many economies, they are taking off towards industrialization. No need to say, together with real estate, some heavy industry sectors, I mean, steel, aluminum, cement, chemical, and petrochemical. So they will serve as the major emitter for the whole economy. And how to, on one hand, how to meet the market demand for economic growth with those sectors, but in the meanwhile, to to create a new development path. That means, value added continue to grow, but the emission reach peak and then decline. So this is a common question in front of all of us. I mean, no matter what country you belong to, where you come from. But this is the question to answer for this century in the coming decades. So that side, we think about how to control the emission from industrial sector. And by chance, we see, I mean, it's very normal practice. I mean, for many countries, especially those, I mean, they have been industrialized from Germany to Japan to Korea to China, and the industrial park is one of the most common geographical or spatial and also commercial pattern to organize industrial organization and also industrial production. And these reflect a sort of organization of supply chain, input and output of production, processing, etc., etc. And certainly, for in order to share the infrastructure, to share the market, to share the talents, I mean labor forces, etc., etc. So, and then industrial park become one of the focuses to control, to manage emission and further development of different types of industry. And in China, we have seen over 2,500 industrial park all over the country. And so I know our some colleagues from Suzhou municipality and the Chongqing municipality, they are also here. And their industrial park are very, very well known. For example, Suzhou is the first one in China with the collaboration of Singapore government and the industry. And now, after several decades, Suzhou Park serve as the talent, as a champion. I mean, for good economic performance, and in the meanwhile, to serve as a good environmental champion. But in the coming 2 or 3 decades, I would believe, again, take Suzhou as an example. Maybe Suzhou Park, Industrial Park, will play some new role to serve as a champion and a pioneer for so-called zero carbon development park. But certainly, by the way, from a pure academic perspective, I do not believe we should require a single park as a park. I mean, with zero emission. Rather, it it should achieve the minimum emission, I mean, least emission, but and then to make some offset from carbon market, and after all, to achieve zero carbon. Maybe this should be the realistic pattern for industrial park. But for the whole country or in a larger region field, you can reach physically zero emission, physical zero emission. But anyway, in a single park, you have different supply chain, and then you can try to apply governance, regulation, policy, and also capacity, etc., etc., to minimize the emission, to optimize your infrastructure. I mean, for example, green power or green transport or building, and in the meanwhile to seek the circular economy for the specific sector or product or process in the park. So a lot of things to do. And Energy Foundation China, recently we focus on three major selected industrial park, including Suzhou Industrial Park and the Chongqing Dew River Park, Liangjiang Yuanqu, and also Hainan Yangpu Industrial Park. And we also consider to collaborate with the ADB, our partner with the MOU, in our MOU framework, to see how we work together to create some pilot industrial park, and then to collaborate with Chinese government. Recently, Chinese government just launched a zero emission industrial park initiative nationally, and we also call for participation of our partners in this region. Let's work together to see if we can share our expertise and knowledge and the information in Asia, in the whole region, to see on one hand we promote the development of industrialization and reshape zero emission global supply chain, but in the meanwhile to boost our economy. So I look forward to a very productive workshop and further collaboration. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Professor Zhou's sharing about the curve of industrial park development in China, learning from Singapore, and even more innovative challenges or opportunities could be in any country, including China. He shared 3 examples Energy Foundation China is working on. Plus, he also has a takeaway message: working together, sharing all the experience with everybody would be our, I think, a long task in the future if we want to put all this economy together, relying upon the industrial park, which is just like the power station. We are here for the Clean Energy Forum, but my interpretation, the industrial park is more like each power plants. It's a powerhouse of the whole economy. So by having all these different type of industrial park together, the economy will be much stronger and stable, more promising. So without any further ado, let me invite President Wu, who is from Beijing Green Finance Association. Wu 主席，您请。And before Mr. Wu come here, I just read his bio. He is an outstanding entrepreneur in 2021 to 2022, and also is a role model of Beijing in 2021. So welcome President Wu to give us a great speech.
尊敬的刘志董，各位嘉宾，大家下午好。很高兴能与亚洲开发银行共同主办2025亚洲清洁能源论坛的跨越国界净零碳发展综合解决方案编会活动。我仅代表北京绿色金融协会，预祝本次活动圆满召开。编会主题，我认为恰逢其时。当前，在双碳目标背景下，零碳园区建设正成为我国推进绿色低碳转型的重要工作方向。2024年，中央经济工作会提出要建立一批零碳园区，这是在中央层面工作部署中首次提出“零碳园区”一词。随后，工业和信息化部提出要深入推动工业绿色低碳发展，实施工业节能降碳行动，建设一批零碳工厂、零碳工业园区，促进工业资源规模化、高质化利用。2025年政府工作报告强调，要扎实开展国家碳达峰第2批试点，建立一批零碳园区、零碳工厂。希望在此次对接过程中，各方本着开放共享、合作共赢的态度，都能有所收获，将合作进一步深化落地。当前，零碳园区建设面临一些痛点需要解决，主要体现在：一是标准体系还不完善，尚未形成统一的 零碳园区建设标准和相关金融标准体系。园区在建设过程中缺乏明确的指导，难以准确评估建设成就。二是资金需求与供给不平衡，零碳园区的建设需要大量的资金投入。目前，我国绿色金融市场的资金供给仍难以满足零碳园区建设的资金需求。三是市场机制不健全，碳交易等市场机制有效性发挥不充分，其覆盖范围有限，碳价偏低，难以通过市场信号有效激励减排。为解决上述问题，我认为近年中央提出大力发展的绿色金融是一剂良药，可能在助力零碳园区发展中发挥重要作用。首先，在标准体系完善方面，绿色金融基于零碳园区发展需要，进一步发展零碳金融标准和评价体系。去年以来，协会已成立绿色数字园区专委会，目前正在地方标准建设和打造样板等方面开展相关工作，特别是在碳排放核算层面，参照国际标准，制定符合中国国情的核算细则，建立起覆盖园区规划、建设、运营、退出阶段的碳足迹追踪体系，覆盖包括能源、碳减排、生态等维度指标。其次是协会开展零碳园区需求对接和调研，强化支持零碳园区建设的零碳财政金融协同机制。特别是协会通过调研，针对园区所在地方政策协同，如何更好发挥财税政策的基础性支撑作用方面，探索完善风险分担机制和零碳园区担保基金，为金融机构提供部分风险缓释，推动财政贴息与绿色信贷联动，对符合绿色产业目录指导目录的项目实施差异化贴息政策，引导资金向低碳技术研发、智慧能源系统等关键领域倾斜。最后是通过绿色金融创新、碳金融产品和服务体系，结合协会与国家资源减排交易所相互协同的资源优势，创新基于零碳园区的碳配额和 CCER 减排量的金融衍生品，开发碳远期、碳调期等产品，帮助园区企业管理碳价波动风险，探索碳资产质押融资、碳资产回购融资等模式，允许企业以碳配额作为质押物获取流动资金，针对高碳企业转型需求，开发零碳园区可持续发展挂钩的产品。近年来，亚洲开发银行在零碳园区建设领域持续发力，以创新金融模式与精准战略布局，为中国绿色转型注入强劲动力。亚行通过华夏银行实施转贷机制，成功撬动资本流向碳密集型产业低碳改造项目，为工业园区低碳转型开辟新的路径。依托结构导向型贷款，助力重庆高新区构建起绿色建筑、生态治理与可再生能源协同的低碳城市发展体系，树立起城市绿色发展标杆。在宁波，亚行再次以金融机构转贷为纽带，深度赋能低碳园区建设，推动绿色金融与低碳技术深度融合。这些项目的落地，不仅彰显了亚行在零碳园区建设上的卓越远见，更为全球可持续发展贡献了宝贵的亚行经验。协会自成立以来，紧密围绕中国碳市场发展和北京绿色金融与可持续金融建设开展了大量工作。协会会员单位 金融绿色程度高，业务范围广。协会连接政府与排放企业和金融机构，通过服务、研究、协调等机制，加强会员与国内各省市和国际绿色金融机构的合作与交流，促进绿色金融行业可持续发展。未来，协会将与亚行深化战略合作，以创新机制与专业赋能双轮驱动，共同推动零碳园区建设向更高水平、更深层次跨越，为全球绿色可持续发展贡献更多实践范例。最后，再次预祝本次活动取得圆满成功，谢谢大家。
President Wu's first-hand information from his members are quite, I think, very useful to us. He mentioned about this the AI, this new and innovative financing tools they used, and also strong partnership with many stakeholders, including he highlights 3 projects ADB has already been done. I think last year, the Huaxia Bank, the Ningbo project, and also the Chongqing RBL project. We are very honored to hear from you, particularly as Green Energy, Green Finance Association president, highlights the importance of these innovative financing tools in promoting green development associated with the industrial park. Without any further ado, I would like to introduce the next panel. Dr. Zhou, he is a doctor from Cambridge University, right? And also Tsinghua alumni. He has been with ADB for quite a long time and very experienced experts in climate financing. I used to work with him. You know, he did a lot of CDM projects. I don't know how many of you know the CDM project, but he is one of them. Went to many cities, including one project in Lanzhou. He probably stayed in the street counting how many vehicles running on the street. And I don't know the mathematical formula is correct or not, but end of the day, this methodology has been adopted by many international organizations. So let me invite Dr. Zhou again, Zhou Wei. He will be the moderator for the next panel discussion.
Good afternoon, colleagues. Welcome. My name is Wei Zhou. I'm the moderator for this session. It's a great pleasure to have you all here today. As the name suggests, setting the scene, the session's aim is to kind of provide essential context for zero carbon industrial park, as well as to lay the foundation for the detailed discussion and deep dives that will follow throughout the workshop this afternoon. So we are going to look at the big picture in terms of what the current landscape looks like, what are the emerging trends over time, how to tap into the potential opportunities, how to overcome the major constraints and the challenges, as well as lessons learned and recommendations going forward. So we are very privileged to have a fantastic lineup of speakers today who are going to share with us their unique perspectives and valuable insights on today's topic. We have a very actually tight session ahead with 7 presentations in just 70 minutes. So please may I request our speakers to keep your presentations concise and focused within the time limit, 8 to 10 minutes each, please. So before each presentation, I will very briefly introduce their background. You can find their full bios in the app as well as on ADB website. We are not going to have time for Q&A at the end of the session, but I would highly encourage the audience to please connect with our speakers during the coffee break to continue the discussion and to keep the momentum going. So without any further ado, let me welcome our first speaker today, Ms. Han Wei, onto the stage. Ms. Han is the Program Director of Clean Industry Program of the Energy Foundation China. She's going to take us through the background and the current status, as well as the future prospects of Zero Carbon Industrial Park. Ms. Han, please. Thank you.
Thanks, Rachel. Good afternoon, everyone. It's really my great pleasure to join this workshop regarding the zero emission industry park. I think, and beginning, I would like to particularly mention the end of last year, China Economy World Conference just happened. They proposed the zero emission industry park construction. And this is also emphasized by President Xi for the importance of building the zero emission industry park in China. And I think today, this workshop is very timely, very relevant to touch this topic. And I do believe this workshop and our discussion today will provide great opportunity to explore the pathway and form the recommendations to China, not only China, the whole world, for how to move the zero emission carbon, zero carbon and the carbon neutrality for the industry parks. So, again, my name is Han Wei. I'm from Energy Foundation China, and I would like to first start with the overall industry park in China. And we do, as our previous speaker already mentioned, the industry park, not only for China, for all the world, we do believe they play a very important role, work as a key engine for the economy growth. And in China, we see there's 15,000 industry parks. Among these 50,000 industry parks, there are more than 2,500 national and professional industry parks. So for these 2,500, they consume 35% of the total energy consumption. Is about 1/3 of the carbon emission, but they do contribute 50%, over 50% of industry output. So we do believe to decarbonize the industry sector in China will be very important to engage industry parks to achieve their carbon neutrality, and they are the front lines for this carbon neutrality transition. Looking back the history of industry parks, I would observe that there's three major important stages for this industry park development. I would say the first very beginning phase is from 1918 to 2000. I think at that time, a lot of the industry parks is built, and at that time, very much focused on the export and build the manufacturing base and attract the FDI, foreign direct investment. And there's a lot of the industry park happen at that time, and most of them are located the coastline, and such as like Shanghai, Shenzhen, and Suzhou. And I do believe Suzhou will be a very hot topic today, and we will share more experience and shared by our colleagues from Suzhou Industry Park. And then they move to the upgrading phase, I would say from 2000 to now, 2025, I believe for the move forward will become to a new phase. But for the upgrading phase, at that time, China start to focus on to pay more attention on green development, on circular economy, energy efficiency issues, and all these features be added into the industry parks to further shape from quantity to quality improvement in park development. And also we see there's a trend from the east coast to the central part and to the west part, and very much focus on the industrial integration and the environment performance and low carbon development at that time already. And so now today we come to a new phase, the transformation phase. I do believe from this year to even 2030 or 2060, we say we will, driven by the carbon peaking and carbon neutrality targets in China, and we'll more to look at the global supply chain shifts and reshaping the supply chain opportunity, as well as a new digital economy and the digital solutions to drive the more greener, smarter, and also the resilient industry parks. So by looking at all these features, we do think the industry park development now is not only a kind of economy driver, but also a kind of platform to test all the integrated and systematic solutions for carbon neutrality. Yeah, we look particularly how to make this happen and what's the pathway for the low carbon and zero emission industry parks. You know, when we're working on the decarbonized industry sectors, and we do have this kind of pathway by looking at the different timeline and the kind of mix of this pathway. And particularly we look at energy efficiency and also the energy switching and new energy, renewable energy, and as well as process innovation and the structure change, as well as like the last mile CCUS solutions as a mix and systematic and integration of solution for all these to decarbonize industry sectors. But when we put all these the pathway into the industry park, and we think industry park is a great test ground, is very ideal test ground for all these major pathways toward carbon neutrality in China's industry sector. Yeah, again, when we're working on many local pilots and even for the national action plan for the zero emission industry parks, we particularly look at, I think, 3 decarbonization. Decarbonize the energy system. That's a very, very central part in how to make more green electricity supply and to decarbonize our power system to build a clean zero carbon and multiple energy system, as well as really to deploy the integrated source grid load storage system, including the green grid and virtual power plants. These all should be integrated and deployed with innovative power system. And also particularly to look at the electrification rate for this industry park and try to use more electricity supplied by the green electricity. And the second one is decarbonize the infrastructure. And we say within the parks, there's a lot of the infrastructure, and they will be the kind of energy surveys and logistic surveys and transportation surveys, and how to decarbonize all these the system, the service system, to build a green and zero carbon transportation and the logistic system to electrify the heavy duty and shipping within the park, and deploy the shared infrastructure for the energy cascading, and to use waste heat from other plants and to circulate all these resources flow. And we also say there's a trend to coupling the industry function and urban function. So how to integrate industry and the urban functions through kind of co-locating planning and the shared service system is also very crucial to decarbonize in structure. And the third decarbonization, I would say the industry layout. We see there's a lot of industry will be within the parks, and we should work more on to promote the energy efficiency, utilize the energy system to advance their technology and promote retrofits for their zero emission plants establishment. And also another very important element is to transition to more high value and low carbon industry structure, and to shift from the heavy industry to more emerging and high value industry supply chain. And also, we think there's another big potential for reducing the carbon emission is further foster industrial integration and symbiosis through this kind of byproduct exchange, a kind of resource cascading, and to use the waste from one country probably will be valuable resources for another plant, and how to coupling them together to achieve this kind of recycling. That would be also very important and potential for carbon emission reduction. But within all these three decarbonization approach, and we say there's we do need overall framework, overarching framework. And since why is the industry park? Because industry park, they have, in China, particularly in China, they have this kind of governance mechanism. Every industry park, they will have a governance committee, and they will be in the right authority and mandate to deploy this kind of carbon management platform or mechanism, and they can serve as a very important platform to guide the overall strategy development for the industry park, and to monitoring how the energy consumption consumed and the carbon emission. And I would like to take two examples, just due to the time limitation. I will not go to the very details. And Suzhou, yeah, we already mentioned a lot. It's they are one of the carbon peaking in pilot in China, and they are exploring the innovative and carbon management mechanism. They are very advanced. They have already a lot of the best practice happen and lesson learned. But it's worth to mention. Yeah, we definitely can learn a lot, even for other countries or for other industry parks in China, learn their experience. But currently, we are supporting Energy Foundation China. We are working with them to further to deploy the virtual power plants, the innovative, the green electricity supply, as well as overall master energy and carbon management mechanism. And another example I would like to mention, the Yangpu Industry Park in Hainan Province. This is also a very typical hard to abate area, the chemical sectors. I think Professor Zhou already mentioned a lot on this, how to decarbonize the continued growth with carbon emission and energy consumption. That will be very important for the future, the sector's development. So Hainan, there is a coal hub for petrochemical production and the heavy industry, as well as they heavily rely on the fossil fuel. So we propose 6 pathways, and one is green electricity supply by coupling with offshore wind power, and they have abundant offshore power resources, and also promote the clean electrification within the parks, and also coupling with green hydrogen, and green hydrogen produce green chemicals, hydrogen, ammonia, and methanol, and these improve the competitiveness of their products, as well as energy efficiency, and provide the clean heating. And since a lot of the heating and the steam need to use in chemical industry, and we do find there's a nuclear power nearby, 60 kilometers from the industry park, and how to use waste heating from nuclear power plants to supply the heating and steam to the industry park. That would be also significant saving and the emission reduction. Yeah, other elements, since I already run out of time, and I will not go very details, but we do see there's a huge potential for in terms of the emission and carbon intensity reduction, as well as investment. And yeah, there's still a lot of bottlenecks when we do the local pilots, even provide recommendations for the central governments on the zero emission cap. We need a lot of the data, fundamental data and the standard system, and also how to really make the reality of access to green and flexible power, as well as enabling infrastructure and technologies, and also the business models, yeah, extra. But moving forward, we do believe the industry park will be a kind of model to explore the opportunity for economy growth and the emerging, how to deploy the emerging clean technology in the industry park, and also how to reshape the value chain for the whole world. And so finally, yeah, again, Andy Foundation is really great, proud of be part of these efforts, and we would like to continue to work with all of you to move this happen and really to make the industry part toward zero emission. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hunt, for that very informative and insightful presentation and for setting the stage so clearly. I do appreciate that. So now we have a much better understanding of how the planning, design, implementation of zero carbon industry park have been kind of evolving over the past few decades, and what are the major constraints and challenges and opportunities going forward. So to build on that foundation, it is my great pleasure to welcome our next speaker. Ms. Jiang Zhongqiao, Deputy Chief, Center of Science and Technology and the Industrialization Department, Development, Ministry of Housing and Urban Rural Development, PRC is very long. Ms. Jiang will be talking about exploration and the practice of zero carbon communities in China. Ms. Jiang, the floor is yours. 10 minutes, please.
大家下午好，非常感谢亚航为我们提供了这次大家交流分享的机会。今天呢，我想跟大家分享的是，中国零碳社区的探索和实践。下面呢，我想从3个方面，跟大家做一个简要的分享介绍。第一个方面呢，就是工作背景。社区呢是城乡建设、绿色低碳发展的重要单元。从碳排放的角度看呢，社区产生了约70%以上的建筑碳排放，是碳排放的主要来源。当前，中国的零碳社区建设仍然面临一些挑战。这些挑战呢，主要包括受建设年代、技术水平等因素的限制。中国呢，当前还有大量的既有的老旧社区，这方面的减碳的压力还是比较大的。另外呢，部分社区的能源系统老化，同时呢，人们对生活品质呢这个追求也不断的提高，这样呢也会造成对能源消耗需求的增大。但是我们在零碳社区的建设方面呢，也面临着很大的机遇。这里边包括呢，主要是2个方面，一个呢是，中国呢每年新建建筑的规模呢，虽然这2年受建筑房地产市场的影响呢有所影响，但是依然的规模还是依然较大。另外一个呢，中国在推进这个大规模的推进城市更新，老旧小区的改造呢推进速度加快，这都为我们这个零碳社区的建设呢提供了很好的机遇。在国家政策层面呢，我们中国宣布，二氧化碳是2030年和2060年的碳达峰、碳中和的这个目标。围绕这个目标呢，中国出台了1+N 的政策体系。一呢，主要是中共中央国务院关于完整、准确、全面贯彻新发展理念，做好碳达峰、碳中和的这个意见。N 呢，是指国务院从中央国务院到各个工业、交通、能源、住建等各个行业主管部门，再到地方政府这各个层级所出台的一系列的政策。在这样的大背景下呢，零碳社区的建设也越来越得到了中国各级政府和社会各界的关注，并在有关的政策文件中对零碳社区的建设提出了明确的要求。第2个方面呢，探索和实践。实际上，我们中国自2014年以来呢，就开始探索绿色低碳社区的建设， 比如，国家发改委2014年就出台了文件，开展低碳社区建设试点。我们住建部2017年也出台了绿色生态城区的评价标准，2020年出台了绿色社区创建行动方案，地方上也都开展了实践的试点。当前在国家的层面，中国从区域推广到项目建设2个维度积极地推动零碳社区的建设。在区域的推广上，2030年前碳达峰实施方案，这个是国务院的文件，明确提出选择100个具有代表性的城市和园区开展碳达峰试点。在此基础上，2023年以来呢，国家已经批准了2批共62个碳达峰试点城市或者园区，其中都明确要求将屋顶光伏覆盖率、星级绿色建筑的占比、单位能耗强度等零碳社区的指标纳入建设要求。在工程建设层面，启动了绿色低碳先进示范工程建设，支持低碳产业园区的建设。2023年，国家发改委等部门联合发文，开展示范工程建设，支持低碳园区的示范。2024和2025年这2年，先后发布了2批共148个示范项目清单。在地方层面，各地也相继启动了零碳社区建设试点，因地制宜构建了适合当地特征的零碳社区评价标准体系。比如，山东省2023年的7月就发布了近零碳城市、近零碳园区、近零碳社区示范创建实施方案，针对近零碳社区构建了6个类型、11项的具体指标。在国家和地方的共同努力下，近年来中国相继建设了重庆江北新区、天津河西新区、青岛中德生态园区、天津碳中和智慧岛、深圳大梅沙社区等一批新建或者改造的零碳社区示范试点项目，取得了较为突出的节能降碳的效益。下面呢，我想就一个具体的案例跟大家做一个简要的分享。今天分享的案例呢，就是在我们住建部的推动下，2024年在海南省建设完成投入使用的海南博鳌近零碳示范区的项目。这个项目呢，是位于我国的热工气候分区的夏热冬暖地区，建筑面积约190公顷，建筑占地面积190公顷，建筑面积约16.6万平方米。建设的内容主要是以建筑改造和设备更新为主。这个项目呢，节能降碳的这个主要路径包括降低用能需求、提高系统能效、转变用能方式3个方面。在降低用能需求上，该项目借助软件模拟，有针对性的识别技术措施，提升了维护结构等重点部位性能，增设了水平、数值和绿植遮阳，在不影响建筑风貌的前提下，大幅度降低了建筑空调的负荷。在提高系统的性能上，针对既有机房空间有限、改造周期长的情况，制定了高性能模块化的制冷机房改造方案，采用了磁悬浮变频冷水机组，并结合 BIM 软件优化了机房管路，实现全年系统能效可达6.0以上。通过采用模块化施工方案，仅用时3个月就完成了改造，较原工期缩短了50%。在转变用能方面，用能方式上，充分利用可再生能源，运用景观光伏、立面光伏、屋顶光伏、光伏地砖等技术，实现了太阳能光伏的最大化利用。此外，建设了将储能、水蓄冷、光储直柔等相结合的新型能源系统示范， 并运用空气源热泵、电吹式等设备代替原有的燃气设备，实现了建筑终端全电气化的目标。根据海南博鳌零碳示范区的实际用能数据，改造后该项目能源消耗不含这个光伏，比改造前下降了约25%。结合建筑及周边光伏的产能，该项目整体减碳比例含着光伏可以达到52%，节能降碳的效益十分的显著。今天呢，我就跟大家分享到这里，感谢各位的聆听，谢谢。
Thank you, Ms. Jiang, for that very comprehensive overview and engaging cases. I'm sure that experience from the PRC can provide valuable references to our other developing member countries of ADB in their pursuit of low carbon pathway. So now let's turn to Southeast Asian countries, ASEAN. We know that many countries in ASEAN have been taking steps to decarbonize their industry sector, which in fact face a range of challenges, such as very high energy intensity, rising energy demand, very heavy reliance on fossil fuel, technology access barrier, and high cost of financing, and so on and so forth. So on that front, it's my pleasure to welcome our next speaker, Mr. Zulfikar Yonardi, Manager, Energy Modeling and Policy Planning Department, ASEAN Center for Energy. Mr. Zulfikar, floor is yours.
Okay. Again, thank you very much for ADB and also Energy Foundation China for having me on behalf of the ASEAN Center for Energy to share with you some of our activities, especially in relation with the industry energy sector. Quick introduction about ACE. We are the intergovernmental organizations that represent the interests of the energy from the 10 ASEAN member states. So we play a role as a think tank, knowledge hub, as well as the catalyst, conducting research, advocating them, and also assisting in the official meeting and also its materials. Part of the analysis that I'm going to share with you are based on the 8th ASEAN Energy Outlook, or the AU8. So the ASEAN Energy Outlook is the flagship publication of ACE that we develop every 2 years. The latest edition was launched last year in Vientiane in the ASEAN Ministers on Energy meeting. Another key documents in ASEAN is the APAEC, or the ASEAN Plan of Action for Energy Cooperations. So currently we are in the APAEC 2021-2025. So our current energy cooperation blueprint will end this year. And currently ASEAN, together with ACE, is working in developing the next cycle of APAEC, including the new targets of renewable energy, energy efficiency. And we are currently working under the 7 program area over there, covering the ASEAN power grid, oil and gas sector, clean coal technology, energy efficiency, renewable energy, regional energy policy planning, and civilian nuclear energy. Specifically on the energy efficiency, our target is to reduce energy intensity by 32% in the year of 2025 based on the 2005 level. And on big part of this, of course, of how we can advance energy efficiency and energy management in the industry sector. All the ASEAN member states already have their own energy efficiency targets. Of course, it's different by country. And as I mentioned before, as a region, we are committed to have energy intensity reduction by 32% in the year of 2025. Almost all ASEAN member states also already submitted their national determined contributions and updated NDCs, as well as having their target for carbon neutrality or the net zero, except probably just one country. But of course, in ASEAN, we still do not have a official regional target for the net zero, but we see that all the ASEAN member states are agreed of having this energy transition. And which is also included in, as I mentioned before, we are developing the new APAEC. So the notion of energy transition and also decarbonization are key in our theme for the 2030, as well as our vision for the year of 2045. Okay, so as mentioned before by the moderator, that in ASEAN we are foreseeing a huge energy demand growth in the next 3 decades. Our estimation is by the year of 2050, we expected 260 times energy will be required based on our baseline scenario. And among these, the industry and transport sector are the highest energy consuming sectors, and especially dominated by coal in the industry sector and oil, which is composed of the almost 80-90% of our transport sector. But we also noted that with the advance of energy efficiency, we can reduce this energy demand. Here we showed that from our baseline scenario to our national target scenario, in which each country achieved their energy efficiency target, we can reduce the total energy demand in industry, for example, by 31%, 39% in transport. So again, highlighting the importance of energy efficiency. In the industry, we see that in the year of 2022, the industry energy consumption is growing by 27% compared to the previous year. So this is returning from the pandemic era. Some analysis also shown that around 600 plus billion will be required for energy efficiency improvement. And these are the key energy consuming systems in the industry sector: the chilled water system, compressed air system, motor driven system, as well as the industrial boilers. All these are key technologies that are also being utilized in the industrial parks. And we also highlighted some key barriers for energy efficiency adoption, including the lack of capital, especially for the small, medium enterprise, limited knowledge, management focus and commitment issues, as well as uncertainty about the new technologies. We tried to disaggregate our industry subsectors in ASEAN, and we see that the basic metal, so iron and steel industries, non-metallic, this includes the cement, chemical, the fertilizer industry, as well as food beverages, are the top 4 high energy intensive industries in the region. And we also see that there are strong reduction potential. As mentioned before, also the energy intensity is still rather high. We are still not using the best available technologies yet. So at least 30-40% of energy can be saved by energy efficiency efforts. A bit highlight, so mentioned before, I think by Ms. Han, that there are 15,000 industrial parks in China. In Southeast Asia, I think we have around 1,000 economic zones and also industrial parks. And this is some highlights. So in Indonesia, we have, together with UNIDO, the Global Eco Industrial Park Program. So we try to move towards this eco industry. So the name keeps changing, like eco industry and then green industrial park. And now we have like net zero park, but basically it's the same. So we are pushing towards a low decarbonized energy and also water and also resources utilizations. In Indonesia, we have several pilots in Bekasi, Batam, and also Karawang. And some of the impact reported of annual reduction of 12,000 tons CO2, more an investment, and also recorded financial saving of 1.5 USD million per year. And currently it's continuing on the phase 2. In Malaysia, there is a new industrial master plan 2030, which also highlighted the importance of industry and also industrial park. Some sample projects is Eco Business Park in Johor, Green Technology Park in Pahang, and also BioExcel. In the Philippines, they have the Special Economic Zone Act, which started all this Special Economic Zone and Industrial Park in Philippines. They have the Philippine Economic Zone Authority that aims to transform this future industrial park as a model for circular economy. Some example is that MOU with the PNOC and PEZA, as well as 5 industrial parks that will serve as the case studies to evaluate the potential of this green and EIP adoptions in their industrial parks. So there are some 5 around here. Singapore, it's quite advanced. Of course, they have a Singapore Green Plan 2030. They have a green mark for their buildings. They have several projects such as the JTC Clean Tech Park, Eco District in Sungai Kadut. And of course, the National Park Board already plan to utilize the nature-based solutions. So in addition to the active solutions, but also passive and also nature-based solutions for their industrial states. Of course, in the Singapore, we had challenges in land constraints, so they need to, for example, like import their clean energy from outside. In Thailand, of course, they also have like eco-industrial town development since 2010, 5 pilot projects for that, and this is also aligned with their 20-year national strategy to develop 40 eco-industrial town by 2036. In Vietnam, again, UNIDO and World Bank support the development of eco-industrial park in there since 2015. Another pilot projects over there, which impacted of annual saving of around $3 million US, and also to 22 terawatt hour of electricity annually. Emerging efforts are coming from the rest of the ASEAN member states such as Laos, Myanmar, Cambodia, and Brunei. In Laos, they have a very good sample of the special economic zone in Savan Seno. I think in the last meeting with the ASEAN Economic Division, they also shared their strategies of achieving this, especially in connecting the ASEAN and also the big country of China and the others. I will just go through to here several programs that we have in industry sector. In industrial energy efficiency, we are currently developing the risking mechanisms based on 100 million guarantee from the Green Climate Fund. And on that, we also developed the energy saving insurance and also ESCO to support that. We are currently developing a net zero roadmap for the steel industry in Indonesia and Vietnam, as well as conducting a carbon neutrality diagnosis for several industry enterprises, especially in Thailand and also Indonesia. We always have the ASEAN Energy Awards every year, in which we commemorated the best practices of energy efficiency in industry. And these are some of the winners of the ASEAN Energy Awards. Usually it's awarded at the gala dinner as part of the ASEAN Energy Business Forum. We also had a quick study with Huawei on the data center, noting that the importance of this AI and also data center for energy demand and the importance of energy efficiency on that specific sector. We also push forward about digitalization as an important technologies, probabilities also to add several strategies mentioned before of how it can, these digital innovations can optimize the energy use, especially in a system such as industrial park for its transport, for its logistic, as well for its energy utilization. Last slides, some policy recommendations. Of course, we need an innovative financing mechanisms. Again, in many parts of the regions, financing is still a big issue, even though we want to push towards this energy efficiency, decarbonizations. Technical advisory is very important as well, because when we talk with the industry, sometimes they are not confident enough of these new technologies for energy efficiency, whether it makes sense in terms of value of money. Public-private partnerships is of course important. Many of these industrial parks are partly governed by the public sector. So this public-private partnership is another key strategy that we can push forward. Mentioned before, this energy performance benchmark and database is still lacking in the industry. We tried to do energy performance benchmark in cement, and we are facing huge problem of data limitation, for example. Last but not least is to strengthen regional collaboration and knowledge sharing, such as forum like this with ADB and EFC. Hopefully we can have more forum like this to support our ASEAN member states. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jofika, for that very comprehensive overview of the initiatives across ASEAN countries and also your organization's work. So clearly we know that technologies, regulations, policies, and also financing are the key factor to create a much needed enabling environment for decarbonizing industry sector, not only in ASEAN countries, but also in other DMCs of ADB. So in that context, we know that sharing of knowledge, transfer of technologies from advanced DMCs like the PRC, as well as the concessional financing from leading MDBs like ADB, as well as other donor agencies are crucial. So with that, it's my pleasure to welcome our next speaker, Ms. Li Zhong, Deputy Director General, Energy Research Institute at the Chinese Academy of Macroeconomics Research. So speaking from the perspective of a top leading think tank in the PRC, Ms. Li will we examine the key policies and the practices that can bring low carbon industry park to the next level, zero carbon. Ms. Lee, please.
尊敬的刘伟华执董、邹记总裁、吴汝川会长、各位嘉宾、各位同仁，大家下午好。非常高兴能参加今天下午的这个分论坛。下面呢，我就中国从低碳园区到零碳园区发展的政策与实践和大家进行一个交流。首先前面好几位嘉宾已经提到了关于中国园区的数量我在这里我就不再重复了我想说的是呢，就是如果说我们把园区的这个直接排放、间接排放，再加上这个产业链、供应链的排放加在一起呢，那么广义上来讲这个工业排放的大头呢都是在园区里。那么过去呢，我们中国政府也是推动园区的这个绿色化改造也经过了一个过程最开始呢是注重这个环保改造，比如说从达标排放到超低排放，然后呢到节能升级改造那么现在呢，我们又提出了一个更新的目标，那就是零碳园区当然，零碳园区像零碳的这个目标发展呢，是需要一方面需要不仅需要就是节能改造需要提高能效，同时呢也需要优化能源的结构，当然呢也包括要推进园区的循环化改造。那么我们从下面这个图我们可以看出来就是我们现在呢，应该说这个能源的消耗，这个横轴是能源消耗纵轴呢是二氧化碳排放，现在呢是一个线性的还是一个关系我们未来的目标呢，就是要脱钩，要把这个能源消耗现在我们15.5我们现在也在下一步我们会更加关注就是单位能源消耗排放的这个二氧化碳。将来呢，我们希望它就是要就是不再有这个线性的关系，要脱钩。另外呢，我们从这个图其实也可以看到现在中国的这个工业园区实际上它的这个排放的能耗的情况、排放的情况还是非常不平衡的你看，我们像这个我们高点那个那是西北地区那么西北地区呢，应该说现在能耗和排放都是比较高，这和这个地区的能源结构和它的产业结构都是相关的。那么我们下面这个线下呢，像这个三角的这个区域呢，像华东地区那么它的这个能耗呢就是会相对来说就是排放呢，就是能耗虽然并不低，但是排放呢相对会低一些。那么所以呢，下一步就是我们零碳园区的建设实际上我们不同的地区、不同的产业园，它实际上需要走不同的路径。那么这张下面呢，我就和大家简单的介绍一下，就是中国过去20余年来这个园区低碳建设的这个历程我们分成3个阶段当然不同的人可能划分的阶段不一样那么第一个阶段呢是01年到13年应该说这个时期呢是中国园区低碳发展的这个奠基阶段。那么这一时期呢，主要是聚焦于生态工业园区建设和园区的循环化改造那么我们可以称之为园区低碳发展的1.0版本时代。那么13年到24年呢，是中国低碳 中国园区低碳发展的一个深化的阶段。这一时期呢，主要是中国主要是开展了这个低碳园区的试点，前面有些嘉宾也提到了。另外呢，也开展这个减污降碳示范试点工作。在这一期间呢，中国也是积累了非常丰富的低碳技术经验与实践的案例，那么有效地推动了园区产业和能源结构的优化升级进程。那么我们可以把这一时期称作为中国园区低碳发展2.0版本时代。那么从24年开始，前面很多嘉宾提到24年这个节点，就主要是中央经济工作会议24年中央经济工作会议提出了就是要建设零碳园区的这个要求那么从这一时期呢，应该说我们中国园区进入了从低碳向零碳化转变的这个加速阶段。我们也可以称之为中国园区低碳发展的这个3.0版本时代。我们现在应该说是进入了3.0版本时代。那么中国园区的这个低碳零碳发展主要是靠离不开这个政策的引导。这里呢，我和大家主要介绍了4个节点其实前面有的嘉宾也提到了，我就快的过一遍第一个呢，就是16年比较重要的16年“十三五”规划纲要里边提出了要实施近零碳排放区示范工程。那么这是第一个。第二个呢，就是23年国家发改委牵头10部委联合印发了绿色低碳先进技术示范工程实施方案，提出要建设低碳产业园区示范项目。第3个比较重要的文件呢，就是24年就是中央经济工作会议要提出要建立一批零碳园区那么还有一个就是今年25年政府工作报告也提出来要扎实开展国家碳达峰的第2批试点。前面专家也提到了，我们已经开展了2批碳达峰试点，同时也提出来要建立一批零碳园区，还有零碳工厂。那么下面呢，因为中央经济工作会议提出零碳园区的这个要求来国家发改委也在开展相关的这个研究工作。那么我们发改委能源所作为支撑国家相关政策的这个决策的作为一个支撑部门我们现在也在开展相应的研究。下面我就简单谈一下我们的一些思考那么园区的类别前面我们也提到非常多前面也提到国家和省级中国有2000多家那么从用能和碳排放的角度来看呢，我们可以简单分为这个传统的这个产业园区和新兴的产业园区那么传统的园区呢，主要是以石化、钢铁等产业为主那么我们这个片子我们其实可以看出来就是对于传统这个产业园区而言呢，钢铁、石化我们知道这些产业它的这个直接和间接的排放都非常大减排的难度也非常大。那么这类的园区发展要经过从它的发展不可能一蹴而就不可能。前面邹忌先生也提到了实际上是零碳是一个目标，我们不可能一下子追求马上就实现零碳，所以它的过程呢发展是要经过一个从高碳到低碳，然后再到零碳的这个一个过程我们也是就是我们实际上可以看出来，从这个就是那个下那边那张图我们可以看出来就是其实我们零碳园区的这个建设也要经历一个先易后难它实际上不同的这个减排技术减排的成本是不同的有的我们看这个轴的这个 下方哈，这个可能是负成本。那么比如一些余热的利用啊、循环化改造啊，那么这个我们要优先推动。我们中间的这个呢，可能是这个过程哈，需要用些低成本的清洁的电力，这个我们也要推动哈。那么到这个最那边那个比较高的，那相对来说哈，它完成到零碳呢，相对来说就比较难哈。比如说一些这个高品位的一些热能哈，那我们可能就会要逐步的有一个过程哈，这是一个方面。关于就是两高的就是传统的产业园区，那么还有一个方面就是园区还有一块呢，就是新兴的园区哈。新兴园区主要以电动汽车呀、动力电池、太阳能电池板等产业为主哈。那么这些产业呢，实际上哈也是对。虽然这些产业对经济的贡献度越来越高哈，那么我们有研究机构哈，我们也有这里有一个数据哈，我跟大家简单介绍一下，就是24年中国清洁能源相关投资呢是超过了6万亿，对 GDP 的贡献呢超过了10%。那么新能源相关产品在终端对零碳有贡献。但是其实哈，这些新能源在生产过程中也面临着减碳的压力哈。我们知道这些这新3样哈，实际上都是高能耗的。那么下一步呢，实际上未来它的减碳，一方面要使用这个清洁能源哈，另一方面哈也要提高就是提高能效哈。降低能源的消耗，那么这是实际上哈，这是前面是我讲的关于2个方面，一个是跟大家分享了就是传统产业，还有一个新兴产业。那么接下来呢，我再跟大家谈一下就是绿电直供哈，因为发改委和能源局哈前一段刚刚发布了就是关于有序推动绿电直连发展有关事项的一个通知哈。那么我前面其实也提到哈，这个零碳园区的建设哈，实际上是离不开电力系统的变革和赋能哈。这个我们中国提出要建设零碳园区哈，实际上有一个很重要的一个很重要的一个方面哈，也是要推动这个绿电直连。我们知道哈，中国在现在哈，在我们中国现在大力发展这个风电、光伏这个新能源哈，但是这些新能源呢，它的布局呢是往往是在中国的西部地区，但是中国的这个生产力布局呢是在东部沿海地区。那么为了解决哈，为了推动这个，那么过去呢，中国搞就是西电东送哈，把电长距离的输送到东部哈。但是这个呢，未来这个随着新能源发电越来越多哈，这个输电通道也会受到限制，所以现在中国也在推动哈这个生产力布局的这个调整哈，在这个绿电的这个地区直接去推动产业的发展，这个呢就需要哈推动这个绿电直供。绿电直供呢，我们知道哈是减碳的一个非常好的一个方式哈。那么最后我再快的和大家简单的介绍一下2个案例哈，一个呢就是这是鄂尔多斯的一个零碳产业园哈，这是中国远景集团打造的一个产业园哈。这个项目呢是22年4月已经建成投产了，那么配套呢是4万千瓦的这个风光的新能源哈。那么这个项目哈，主要就是基于鄂尔多斯丰富的这个可再生能源，它是优化了能源结构，通过这个储能技术的突破哈，再借助这个智能物联网的技术哈，实现这个风电、光伏和氢能的互补哈，最终形成一个稳定的低成本的100%的这个绿色电能的网络哈。这是第一个案例。第二个案例呢，就是 青岛的一个案例哈，青岛的中德生态园哈，这个生态园呢是由中国和德国两国政府哈建设的首个可持续发展的这个示范合作的项目哈。这个园区呢也是通过构建这个多元化清洁能源供给体系哈，通过发展这个太阳能啊、风能啊、地热能、空气能哈等可再生能源哈，这个同时还发展这个分布式的光伏哈。那么通过这些途径哈，打造。另外呢，还要打造这个零碳建筑哈，发展这个被动式超低能耗和装配式建筑哈，实现100%的这个绿色施工、绿色建筑哈。通过这些措施哈，最终实现这个低碳和零碳哈。那么由于时间关系哈，我只能和大家分享这么多。实际上我前面讲到哈，作为发改委的这个直属的这个事业单位哈，我们现在哈也在按照国家的相关部门的安排哈，在做零碳园区发展路径的相关的研究工作哈。今天也非常感谢能源基金会亚行哈，还有中国绿色金融协会哈，提供这个交流的平台哈。我们也希望哈，借助这个平台，能够和大家哈，能够建立起能够持续的这种沟通交流的这个机制哈，共同去研究和探索零碳园区的发展哈。谢谢各位，最后预祝论坛哈圆满成功，谢谢。
Thank you very much, Ms. Lee, for your insights into what it takes to upgrade industrial park from low carbon to zero carbon. I guess the key takeaway from your presentation is that at the heart of this upgrading is the power system transformation, which, as we all know, in many ADB DMCs would be very, very difficult in the absence of absolute concessional financing from MDBs like ADB and other donor agencies. So in that regard, we are very interested in learning how the ADB, as the leading MDB in the region, has been supporting our developing member countries in their pursuit of low-carbon industrial parks. Ms. Zhou Yun is the country operations head, ADB's resident mission in the PRC. So Ms. Zhou, the floor is yours. Thank you. 10 minutes, please.
Good afternoon. I'm very happy to join this important event. Today I'm going to share with you how ADB is supporting low carbon development in China. So before I go to the topic, I would like to give you some background information very quickly. China became a member of ADB in 1986. So since then, ADB has been working very closely with Chinese government to respond to its evolving development priorities. So by the end of last year, ADB has supported close to 45 billion of sovereign lendings with a total number of loans of slightly over 300. So our investment in China mainly covers multiple sectors, with the largest share going to the transport sector, followed by energy and urban development. So these three sectors are the key drivers for decarbonization and sustainable infrastructure. So ADB's deep engagement in this area provide a very strong platform for us to support for low carbon transformation of industrial parks, where energy systems, mobility, and urban services converge. So I just skip this one. So as has mentioned by E.D. Liu in his opening remark, and also mentioned by Ms. Han Wei, industrial parks in China play a key role of growth, to drive growth. However, they are also significant sources of energy consumption and greenhouse gases emissions. So to respond to this, ADB is working with our counterpart to support low carbon and circular development models for industrial parks by combining policy through policy support, capacity building, green finance, and clean technology development. So the second part of my presentation seems to be a follow-up on President Wu's opening remark. He mentioned 3 low-carbon industrial park projects ADB supported. So among the 4 projects I'm going to introduce, 3 are the same, like I will be providing you, as President Wu has mentioned. So I will be providing you a little bit more information on these projects. The first one is promoting industrial park green and low-carbon development project. This project was approved last year. It is a national level initiative to promote low carbon and circular development transformation of industrial parks. There are 2 outputs under this project. The first one is capacity building. So the project helps the participating commercial bank to develop and implement a transition finance framework covering taxonomy, MRV, and disclosure that is aligned with the international standard. And it also supports the preparation of policy recommendations and an action plan for standardized transition finance alongside with low carbon transformation guidance for industrial parks. So, and also it will support knowledge sharing as emphasized by E.D. Liu in his opening remark. So there is a great emphasis of this project on knowledge sharing through development of knowledge management plan, which will facilitate the replication of the project experience to within and beyond China. The second output of this project is direct financing for low carbon sub-projects in selected industrial parks. Some examples of these sub-projects including replacement of coal and natural gas with biomass energy in industrial parks, supporting biogas production and organic fertilizer production using local agriculture waste and manure. And lastly, it will support the facilities of biomass fueled heating supply facilities. So these interventions not only help reduce the emissions from industrial energy use, it also helps the transition to cleaner alternatives. The second project is the Chongqing Kaohsiung District Green and Low Carbon Urban Development Project, which was also approved last year. The Chongqing Kaohsiung District, also known as Chongqing High-Tech Industrial Development Zone, which is one of the earliest national level in a high-tech industrial zone approved by State Council in 1991. So this project program focuses on urban infrastructure that enables green and low carbon development. One of the highlights of this project is the promotion of green building and energy efficient design of buildings. So including demonstration of ultra low energy consumption buildings and achieving 1-star or higher green building ratings for all the new, for 30%, at least 30% of all the new buildings. And lastly, it will provide renewable energy-based district heating and cooling to over 1 million square meters of building areas. And the third the third project is Ningbo Green and Low Carbon Development Project. This project actually was not specifically designed for industrial park, decarbonization of industrial parks. However, Ningbo, as we, like all the Chinese know, is a highly developed, industrialized and developed city in China. It has over 30 industrial parks. Some statistics says it has over 50 industrial parks, but anyway, it has more than 15 national and provincial level industrial parks. So the sub-projects, like this 200 million financial intermediation loan is going to, most of them are located in industrial parks and will support the decarbonization of industrial parks. So some projects we are going, sub-projects we are going to support, including building energy like micro networks to enable the cascade use of industrial waste heat between industries in that particular industrial park or among different industrial parks. And we are also going to support distributed high energy efficient power and heat supply system, which will improve energy efficiency in industrial parks. And another example is we are going to replace the logistic vehicle fleets in heavy industrial parks, like fossil fuel powered vehicles used by industrial parks with hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. And the last project is Guangxi Zero Waste City Development Program, which will be approved this year. So one of the output of this project is to support low carbon and circular economy industrial park development in two cities of Guangxi autonomous region. So activities, just very quickly, include building a smart information management system and climate resilient infrastructure for wastewater treatment, solid waste disposal, and transport in industrial parks. And also the project will improve intermediary services for circular economy industries, like in the area like policy, finance, and social safeguards. And lastly, it will mobilize private sector investment to establish or scale up businesses that will improve energy efficiency, reduce waste, and cut greenhouse gases emissions. So these are my very quick presentations. So I'm happy to answer any questions during coffee break if you have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Zhou, for the very exciting cases. So I think we are running out of time. Okay, let me just, excuse me, let's manage time. Okay, I think it's very encouraging to see ADB's work in this area. So learning from ADB, sovereign, non-sovereign plays a critical role, right, in mobilizing resources needed for promoting this concept. So, so we are very keen to see ADB do more in this area. So now we have the two more presentations. We are going to hear from two leading practitioners who are going to share with us their, real-world, on-the-ground experience in decarbonizing the industrial parks. Our first speaker, Mr. Bayan Basakan Bayan Jago, Country Director, Emission Group from Mongolia. He's going to share emissions practice in net zero industrial park on a global scale, please. Please keep the presentation short. Thank you.
Okay, Liu Weihua and colleagues, it's been 20 years since this event started, so I see some people, Yongping is there. 20 years ago, who was here? I was here, right? And I saw Dan Millison and a few of our colleagues. Eamon, you were you here back then? Yes, you were, right? So now we're talking about net zero industrial parks. So we have come a long way, starting with putting together various climate finance funds to CDM projects, and then now we see this new development. So Ms. Lee has already discussed about some of the very interesting developments, and then I mentioned of the project that Envision is operating and continuing to build in Ordos in Inner Mongolia. So Envision is a company that produces wind turbines. I think we are probably one of the largest now in the world. Last year, I think in terms of sales or installation, I think in terms of installations, we're number one, definitely number one in India. And then we produce battery systems. Just a couple of days ago, Envision opened a new factory in France, and President Macron came to open the plant, and then this will be also a base for our net zero industrial parks in Europe. We are also working in Spain together with the Spanish government and the private sector in developing net zero industrial parks. And then we also produce our hydrogen equipment, electrolyzers. One of the projects that I will quickly mention is also in Inner Mongolia, in Chifeng. It's a park that produces green hydrogen and green ammonia. So a pilot plant has already been launched last year, and now it's being expanded phase 2. And it's a multi-billion-dollar project. The green ammonia is being sold on the market now, and I think we already produce about 200,000 tons, leading up to 1.5 million tons. And again, it's a very interesting project. If you go to Chifeng, you'll be very surprised to see it. And then it's actually next to an existing industrial park. And Chifeng is an interesting city for those who you've been there. In order to land in the city, you have to actually close the shades of the plane because there is a military airport. So you never know where you're landing and then where you're taking off. But we have also a green alloy plant that is starting to be built in Bauto. And this is, again, very transformational, particularly, I think, for a country, for example, like Mongolia, which produces a lot of coking coal, right, which is very important input into the steel making process now. But the industry is shifting, and I think we're starting to see a significant change in the industry in the next 10 years. And Envision also agreed to develop a net zero industrial park in Mongolia. Earlier this year in Davos, we signed an agreement with the Mongolian government to develop net zero industrial parks, and then also various projects, including projects that will enable sale of energy from Mongolia cross-border to China. And currently, Envision has done a battery project, 50 megawatt, 200 megawatt hour project in Mongolia. We're working on several others at the moment, and also a project that will supply, and that's battery and wind. Currently, first stage is 180 megawatts, and then it will expand to 600 megawatts, and further, one of the largest gold and copper mines in the world, which is situated in southern Mongolia. So we also have a project in Hebei that is being built. So Ms. Lee was very kind to introduce our Ordos project, so I'm not going to dwell much into that. But we are on the ground, and I think the difference between why these projects have been able to reach these stages is the fact that Envision takes the development and also construction risk initially. So we put the balance sheet and then are able to construct these projects and then invite the various players. For example, in Ordos, we have various companies that are producing not only the products such as solar panels, but also the supply chain, right? So rare earth and then lithium and then the supply chain. So that's kind of unique. And I mentioned about our project in Europe. Standards is something that we also are very keen to develop, and we've been able to get a few standards now, and which this certainly helps with project development, particularly with finance. Again, this will be further pushed. And then the other thing is carbon markets and carbon trade. I think these projects will enable carbon trade in the future, and therefore, again, hopefully next year, when we speak in this forum, we'll be talking about the further developments. So with this, I'd like to, again, end my presentation and then thank the organizers.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bayambasa Khan. We have learned from eVision's remarkable achievements in terms of turning vision into reality. Now I'd like to welcome our last speaker, Mr. Cai Jianjun, Vice President from Suzhou Chinese Consortium Holding. As many of us know, the Suzhou Industrial Park is a national level government collaboration between China and Singapore. Arguably, it is perhaps the most well-known industrial park in the PRC. So we look forward very much to hearing from Mr. Cai about how the park has been making efforts to carve out a low-carbon pathway. Mr. Cai, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
好，感谢亚行，感谢能源基金会给我们这样一次机会，在世界的舞台上展现我们苏州工业园区在近零碳方面的一些探索。苏州工业园区在中国的苏州，是中国和新加坡合作的重要的一个项目。94年成立，到去年的话是已经走过了30年，取得成绩也得到了2国领导人的认可。那么这样一个区域的话是278平方公里，常住人口是130万，是属于现在中国开放程度最高、发展质量最好、创新活力最强、营商环境最优的区域之一。目前我们苏州工业园区在国家级的经开区里面，就是国家级的开发区里面，连续9年排名第1。这是我们苏州工业园区30年走过来的一些成绩。以几个重要的数字来说的话 ，GDP 已经翻了353倍，中外企业数量从150家已经增长到了86000家，一共是翻了500多倍。那么更重要的是，我们作为一个开放性的区域，世界500强企业108家在我们区内已经投资了189个项目。具体来说，我们苏州工业园区已经形成了2+4+1的特色产业体系。以2大主导产业来说，新一代信息技术以及高端装备制造2大产业，产值已经超过了5000亿元。同样的，4大新兴产业，人工智能及数字产业、生物医药及大健康、纳米技术应用及新材料、新能源及绿色产业，也超过了5000亿元。而剩下的一个1，现代服务业。增加值在去年也超过了2000亿元。那么更重要的是，高新技术产业以及战略新兴产业的产值占规上工业总产值的比重达到了74%和56%。对于绿色低碳发展，我们也有一些现在的一些成绩。我们始终坚持绿色可持续发展，2023年已经获评了第1批的碳达分试点园区。也是首批全球可持续发展目标示范区50强。在整个绿色低碳方面，我们的清洁能源的占比已经超过了90%，光伏的装机达到440兆瓦，储能装机是351兆瓦时，绿电在2024年已经占整个工业用电的接近1/4。那么在我们产业方面，多方面推动了产业的绿色化，包括推动了产业的用地的更新，进行了分类的管理，鼓励我们的制造业成为绿色工厂。那么也建设了双碳数字服务平台，出台了具体的政策，近5年来实现的节能量是6.5万吨标准煤，也搭建了国际化的、国内化的绿色发展交流平台。2024年规上工业单位产值的能耗较2020年下降了 44%。城市建设方面，包括绿色建筑、绿色交通、生态环境，我们都取得了一些成绩。尤其值得一提的是生态环境。2024年，我们的近10年，我们的环境优良天数已经提升了23.6%。那么对于近零碳的工业园区，我们也有一些新的一些探索。这方面的话，我们因为刚才已经提到，我们是全国首批的碳达峰试点园区，所以我们出台了10大行动计划。这里面包括在产业方面、工业领域方面、能源方面、绿色城市建设方面、交通运输方面，另外还有在循环经济、减污降碳、科技创新、绿色机制方面，还有低碳生活10大方面进行了一些具体的行动。我们在具体的整个苏州工业园区里面，又形成了5个类别的试点。第一个是我们近零碳的物流园，第二个是我们商业楼宇，这是我们和新加坡一起合作的绿色数码港。第三个是基础设施领域，这个循环经济产业园包括了污水处理厂、有机垃圾处理厂以及相应的热电厂和天然气接收站。那么另外的话，我们在苏州工业园区里面还有一些小的产业园，比如说金光产业园是印尼的 APP 集团的产业园，这个产业园我们也做了近零碳的一个示范的探索。那么对于在苏州工业园区刚才提到的一些跨国企业，在园区非常多，我们也把这些园区做了统一的归集，把这些企业做成了近零碳企业的集群示范。除了刚才说的5个产业园区、5个类别的探索之外，我们也对于 ES 方面也出台了一些相关的政策，包括措施和发展的行动计划，主要还是在产业发展和应用实践方面做了具体的探索。除了我们国家的碳体系之外，我们在地方上又制定了碳普惠的体系。这一方面的话，加强了项目的减排；另一方面的话，通过一些新的场景，分布式光伏、储能、充电桩以及其他的个人减排方面，都通过场景的应用，实现了碳普惠的节能。刚才提到的双碳数字平台，原来我们国内的考核的话是能耗的考核，现在的话已经转成了碳排放的考核。所以基于目前的考核机制，我们也对于家底进行了摸清碳排放的情况。那么通过这样一个数字化的平台，把我们的碳完完全全的理解、摸清，同时进行了分类的管理。这是我们在数字化方面的一些探索。那么更为重要的是，我们和能源基金会自2022年以来，已经有很多方面的研究，包括了刚才提到的园区近零碳园区建设路径的研究，还有工业建筑领域的研究。因为整个双碳领域的话，这2个领域的话是非常重要的子课题。那么刚才提到的能耗双碳到碳排放双碳实施路径也进行了研究。那现在的话还在进行虚拟电厂市场化运营方面的研究。下一步我们还会继续推进双方的合作，继续推进绿色低碳高质量的发展。是下一步的打算，我们还是围绕碳达峰2023年碳达峰这个目标做一些试点的建设，还落实我们自己的实施方案。同时更重要的是6大领域：能源基础设施、节能降碳改造、绿色低碳先进技术示范、环境基础设施、循环经济发展、生态保护6大方面推动碳达峰的重点工程。最后的话，我们也是在开展一些交流的合作，希望的话能够对接全球的能源和绿色的发展需求，营造发展的良好态势。那么我们也希望的话，通过我们自己的一些在双碳领域的探索、ESG 领域的探索，向全球、向东南亚进行更多的推广。那么我们刚才提到的5个近零碳示范园的建设，也会向国内的其他区域以及国外进行输出。最后的话，我们也是希望的话，我们国内的一些绿电能够更多的参与国际碳市场合作。待会儿的话，我们苏州工业园区还会和亚行进行签约，其实围绕的主题也是在项目机会、能力建设、知识分享方面、知识共享方面， 我们也希望能够和在座的合作伙伴能够更多的分享我们苏州工业园区的经验，让整个世界更加绿色，让整个人类的双碳更快的到来。谢谢大家。
Thank you very much, Mr. Tsai, for your very inspiring presentation. No doubt, Suzhou is a model. All right, so we have all finished all 7 presentations, excellent presentations, full of valuable insights and inspiring ideas. I believe we all have learned a lot, and I think the session has achieved the goal of setting the scene for the discussions to follow. So please join me in giving a big round of applause to our excellent speakers. So after the coffee break, we will dive much deeper into the policies, regulation, technologies, and the financing aspect of low-carbon industrial park. So we look forward to your continued participation and contribution. Thank you very much. And attention to the speakers and the panelists, please come out to the stage for group photo. 大家上来照个相啊。Speakers and the panelists, right? 各位领导专家。Yeah, all the panelists in the following sessions, please come onto the stage for group photo. Thank you.
May I request everyone to be seated, and we are going to start the next discussion. So while we are still waiting for more people to come in, I just also want to quickly wrap up what I heard from the previous discussion. Dr. Zhou, Wen Zhou did a very good job together with speakers who shared their insights, their findings, their recommendations, their experience to all audience in this room. And the next panel, we have even more information from distinguished speakers. Let me quickly introduce the panelists, and I will invite them to the stage one by one. The first speaker is Dr. Yongping Zai. He wears so many hats, and the one used in this event is the steering committee member of GHG protocol. But beside that, I know Dr. Zai is known to many people here in the room, to the SF, to ADB, even to the whole world. He used to be the senior chief of energy sector group in ADB, and before that, he worked in Africa Development Bank, another ADB, and he also was a lecturer in AIT, like the MIT in Asia, Asia Institute of Technology. And he also was a a doctor from French Institute about energy policy and economics, and he also graduated from Tsinghua University. So let me welcome Dr. Zhai to be on the stage. The second panelist is from Sri Lanka. We noted his power secretary was delivered within the opening ceremony of the Clean Energy Forum. And every year, we saw so many Sri Lanka colleagues to Clean Energy Forum. Thanks for the support from Sri Lanka. And Dr. Narendra De Silva, he used to be also in many positions, including additional power secretary. And now he's heading a very important position, LECO, called Lanka Electrical Corporation Company, one of the spin-off power utility in Sri Lanka, second to the CEB, Ceylon Electricity Board, and mainly looking after the power supply in Colombo area. And as you know, the Colombo city is the capital city of Sri Lanka, very beautiful city. I went there so many times, but I only had one dinner with Dr. Narendra. I expected the second dinner to be hosted after he becomes the general manager of LECO. So without any further delay, let me welcome Dr. Narendra to be on the stage. And the next one, let me also quickly introduce Mr. Liu Xinyi. He's the Deputy Director from Green Partnerships of Industrial Parks in China. And just like President Wu, he has the Green Finance Association of Beijing. The industrial park partnership plays very important role to connect all these industrial parks and share the information, promote the industrial parks development. I believe everybody wants to hear from him about how such kind of strong partnership could be established and how they promote the industrial park in China, and this information could be shared with everybody in the room and beyond. So let me invite Mr. Liu Xinyi to be on the stage. Last but not least, Mr. Liu Fengling. He is the director and also the deputy general manager from Henan Yutian New Energy Company. Henan Yutian New Energy Company has been a long partnership with ADB. He also involves the BTH, the famous Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei program funded by ADB together with the Chinese government. And their project is processed very well with a lot of innovative features, including convert the agriculture waste to gas. And recently, the company is partnered with our private sector team and had a deal of the reducing methane from the natural gas pipeline. So let me invite Mr. Liu Fengling to be on the stage. With the full panelists on the stage, I will just start the session quickly. First of all, the setting scene session have already given us a lot of information, the taste of flavor about the industrial park. I would like to use an analogy, and you know, this is also some kind of joke on the website. Peking University security guard always asked the visitors 3 questions, psychological questions. The first question is, Professor Zhou, who you are? And the second question is, Professor Zhou, where are you from? And the third question is, where are you going? Similar to this industrial park, we have already heard so many speakers talking about what is industrial park and what industrial park has already done before with so many experience. And the next two panels, the one I'm going to chair and the next one, my colleague is going to chair, is talking about three things: the policy, the technology, the finance. So again, my view is we are going to request our distinguished panelists to answer the third question: where is the industrial park development going? So what is the future of industrial park? So, to my panelists, I hope the third question will not disturb you. I have two questions for each person. One is common for everybody, and the other one is customized a little bit based upon your background. So I will start the question to everybody. I hope you're ready. The first question is, everybody talking about industrial development, industrial parks development, and toward to the either net zero emission or zero emission, and the future, like Professor Zhou and other colleagues and Ms. Lee shared. Many departments, agencies are involved in the industrial park. And given the intertwined challenges of policy, regulations, and standards for developing net zero emission industrial park, what do you see as the most or many urgent policies, regulatory actions that would enable the industrial park to be meaningfully advanced toward the net zero carbon? Despite the financing and technology will be the next part, but from the policy perspective, what do you think is the most important policies, regulations stand to support the net zero development of the industrial park? So who wants to go to the left side first or this side first? Maybe this side first, whoever is the youngest.
好的，我们绿盟呢一直致力于推动工业园区的这个绿色发展，也是为了回应主持人的问题啊。我觉得可能零碳园区的建设需要很多的工作，但如果说最棘手的，我觉得还是从2个方面，一个是标准，一个是指南啊。我们需要一个统一的标准来定义什么是净零碳的园区，包括怎么样来核算我园区的排放。 它的边界在哪里？它的数据来源从哪里来？怎么样来做到可核证啊？这可能都是我们所需要的，而且它不是一个零排放的单一的一个指标，它可能是需要一系列的分解的细分的指标。就像最近出台的中国的零碳园区的征求意见稿，它不光有我们的零排放，可能还有我的排放的强度、非化石能源的比例。 园区内储能的总量占园区用电总负荷的比例啊，绿色的交通的比例、绿色建筑的比例，这一系列可以提供参考的标准和细化的指标，来帮助园区按照一个相对统一的标准来建设零碳园区，以保证公平公正的转型。这是第一个。第二个呢，我觉得在这个标准之下，应该提供一份 guideline 和指南，在政策层面来指导园区，因为不同的园区其实有不同的产业结构、不同的地域。刚才我们嘉宾也说了，南北产业结构、能源结构各不相同。那我们在供给侧啊，有这么多的新能源的技术，有太阳能、有风能、有氢能、有地热，这些能源的选择上，我们怎么样去指导不同的园区？ 去按什么样的比例去选择自己适宜的，而不是都建设光伏或者都建设风能。第二，我们在网测虚拟电厂现在这么热，我们也都认为它是一条很好的解决的途径。它在调度和聚合方面，我要聚合最少多少的新能源？是20万兆瓦还是50？我要调度多少的负载才能是一个经济可行的一个虚拟电厂的模型？ 在我们的复合侧，我的纺织产业、我的电子产业，他们都能用什么样的技术来帮助我的企业进行节能减排，从而从供给到网测到我的复合侧， 一个指导的一个 guideline 来帮助我们园区来因地制宜的建设一个经济可行的零碳园区，可能是我们最急迫的需要啊！这是我们通过前期的调研，可能园区集中反馈的一个迫切的需求。
Okay, thank you, Ms. Liu. Your points are well taken, and it's really I feel customized standards because China is quite a widespread country, and different industrial park in different province may need a different standards. So thanks a lot. I will invite the second youngest person, who is Mr. Yongping. We're talking about the talking about these questions, from your point of view. Yeah, same question. So, Dr. Zhang.
When our youngest speaker has spoken for me when he said we need a standard that unified, that common, that can be a relevant guidance for investors. So I repeat that one is important. And that said, I also want to add that the standard regulation policy should be set in such a way that all technologies can be developed. It should not be narrow, that only one type of energy, one type of technology will be favored. And that very important, because we talk about the carbon reduction. If a technology can deliver 10 million tons reduction, for example, and we give subsidy, we give support, and it should be applied to every different technologies. I'm just thinking in the history of renewable energy development, solar PV, wind power have benefited a lot of public support, public sector support, policy support, even physical incentives, financial incentives. If we gave similar amount of support to other technology, we may have seen also same development for, just for example, maybe CCUS, maybe hydrogen. So I'm thinking that the policy and standard regulation should be common, and that gave enough room for all technologies, and that very, very important. Okay, that's second point I want to make. Third point, I want to see this guidance, this policy, this standard, they can be changed, adjusted, but when each time you adjust a policy, it should not be a 180-degree change, and that's a problem. We often say solar power and wind power, they are intermittent energy resources, and you have to be ready to adjust, provide energy storage, and that's sometimes difficult to manage. I think even more difficult to manage for investors, for companies, if you have intermittent policies, intermittent regulations that change dramatically. So I think when we set policies and regulations, we should set such a way that provide a long-term direction so that investors and developers are confident that they can work hard and they can earn return eventually. And these 3 points I want to make. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Zhai. Well said. I think just like ADB, we are saying more inclusive. So there are no difference among the technologies when the industrial park setting the standards to promote the technology, and also should be equally treated. And the third point I think is extremely important. The policy or the standard should be quite a standards, not like 180 degrees of sudden. That will not do any good not just for the industrial park regulation standards, even for the whole economy. The Chinese wisdom is touch the stone, cross the river. I think when you touch the stone, cross the river, you're not going to go back. Basically, you will adjust, but still adjust forward. This is very important. Thank you, Dr. Zai. Now I will invite the third youngest person, who is Dr. Narendra. I have no standards to set, but I think he is the third youngest person here in the room, in the panel. So Dr. Narendra.
Thank you. Actually, the way how I think is that the net zero is a very broad concept. So net zero tells us that the environment is now full of whatever that it can take. We cannot put net anything more. I think that is basically, fundamentally, what do we mean by net zero? So whatever we put out to the environment got to be brought back, because the environment cannot sustain it further. So once when we come to that point and say that we are going to achieve net zero, the way how I'm looking at it is that it is, in one way, it's a technical imperative. It's nothing to be debated about. It's well proven in science. But it's a social inevitability as well. So in the societal manner also, we have to ensure that the future generations will get the same environment what we got from our parents. Now, however, it comes an economic opportunity as well. So if we use this in a proper analytical manner, we can redefine our economy not to hurt our economy while we achieve the net zero concept. If we are to do that, essentially we got to encapsulate this small concept with a larger concept of circular economy. Unless we put net zero into the circular economy, but try to achieve net zero in a fragmented manner, probably we might create certain difficulty to our industries and to our economy. So my request is to take the challenge of creating a circular economy and create policy leadership, and as Dr. Yongbin said, the policy consistency. Through very consistent, aggressive policy, our country's got to go towards the circular economy, and within which we can ask, we can demand, and we can set specifications for our industries to achieve net zero. So essentially, the policy and the government direction should be towards the circular economy, within which the industries can be compelled to achieve net zero. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Narendra. I think it's a very important point, since you were in the government as an additional power secretary before. So I believe your point is really to promote the net zero industrial park, you need to make one step upper. Holistic approach, systematic approach at the high level would be very important. And the circular economy definitely is your umbrella you are promoting. And just want to make an advertisement to you. If you have time, ADB is going to host a circular economy event, I think the week after next. So you may be coming back again. I think you cannot leave Manila after the Clean Energy Forum. Let me invite the last speaker. I don't think you're the eldest, but anyhow, Mr. Liu. Sorry, you know, we keep joking. So the same question to you, from your point of view, what do you think are the most important policy, regulation, and standards to promote the net zero industrial park?
I think this is a really excellent question, Phil. So when I'm getting older, I always think about my, the past time. So I think like 7 or 8 years, I was really honored. Mr. Yongping gave us a lecture in Changsha to tell us how to improve the zero carbon industrial park, for example, the biomass industry. I asked the same question to him. Why this excellent technology cannot make a successful industry in China? Why? Because the technology is not good, because the people cannot understand, or maybe something wrong. Mr. Yongping told us maybe something wrong about the policy. Yes. For example, we can see the future and the past time, the highway in China. Why China can successfully build a really excellent transport, for example, the highway in China? Because they got ETC. The ETC means you can transfer from one province to another province without any problem. The fee and the surcharge can be separate. You can define the value chain in different province, even different department. What about the carbon? Carbon is a product. How can we generate the policy to renew the value chain about how to sell the carbon? For example, Suzhou industrial area. It's an excellent industrial area, can generate a very fortune. But if they need more green power, low carbon energy, how can they produce? How can they buy? For example, in my province, Henan, we have the biomass. We create the green gas. We inject the green gas into the pipeline, but we only can sell the pipeline gas with a normal price. Where is the green power? Where is the green value? Say, if we want to see what's the most important policy we want to have from like a real business company, we want a connection between the technology and the market. Use the policy to drive the products can show their real value. For example, in the non-zero carbon. Another thing is, that means you can increase the income. Income, reduce the cost is the profit. In my province, the electricity is not cheap. The land is not cheap. The tax is not a benefit for the green powerful company. So I think if we have another demand is, we have some policy to reduce the cost for the green power generator. So that means income minus the cost can give the profit. See, if a company have the profit, means this industry can survive. I remembered 2023, in the same room, we discussed towards like a neutral carbon development. So this year, I still in the same room, we talk about the zero carbon development really fast. But if we cannot have like a deep insight to push the benefit comes out, maybe we cannot survive longer. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Feng Ling. I think your message is clear and loud. You know, as a business manager, and your painful points, your experience really will be shared by many business partners. Maybe you also noted, and other colleagues can echo that. In China, right now, the Chinese government is promoting called the unified grid market. So it's not in Chinese called 全国统一大市场. It means a lot of things can be integrated, and solidarity and integrated market will be very useful. Like your examples can really give the evidence. This approach or the policy change will be very important for promoting the industrial park as well, even though we just focus on industrial park development. We still have 12 minutes left. Now I have one more question to each panelist. Then hopefully we still have some time left for Q&A. Now let me just randomly pick the panelists. The first panelist to answer my question is Dr. Zhai. Since Dr. Zhai is a standing committee member of Greenhouse Gas Protocol organization, I want him to share a little bit more about what is greenhouse gas protocol about, and how can it specifically help drive the development of net zero carbon industrial park? So Dr. Zhang.
So it's a good question, and that's bring me back to the first speaker when Xinyi mentioned we need a standard that kind of common and that provide clear guidance. Indeed, since these few days and since early this morning, I've been listening and talking about low carbon, net zero, near zero, and sometimes carbon reduction, sometimes carbon recycle. So all these different concepts would require clear definition. And that definition should be the foundation of everything else, including the industrial park, low carbon or zero carbon industrial park. And this common foundation has been built by Greenhouse Gas Protocol, which is under World Resource Institute, among others, that set the standard, the basis, foundation of all these concepts. And this was set in early 2000, so about 22 years ago. So, at that time, and gradually, the scope 1 of CO2 emission, scope 2 emissions, scope 3 emissions were defined, and this were applied by over 95% of companies in the world and many government institutions. But this was set 22 years ago. And there have been progress in technologies, there have been progress in institutions, and this has not been reflected in the GHG protocol. There's 3 scopes, scope 1, scope 2, scope 3. It's well defined, applied by 95% of companies in the world, including in China. All of us use that concept. But there are needs to update. There are 2 examples where we need update. One is about location. When you say it's near zero or zero or close zero, what special space to talk about? The Director Li talked about direct supply of electricity. That's very close, very near. But it can be also that you have made the investment 10,000
miles away.
No, kilometers away, and then you say that power generation, equals or erases my emission here. So there's question of location. So in the updating of the new GHG protocol, we will define clearly about this location. But I can tell you that the tendency is making it closer and closer. Direct supply is probably so next door supply maybe probably is as an extreme kind of solution. That's one thing we're going to update. Second thing we're going to update is about time. We talk about scope 1 emissions, scope 2, scope 3 emissions, and near zero or close zero industrial parks. What time frame we talk about? Usually we talk about over 1 year, okay? Over this year, this January to December, you measure how much emissions during this 1 year. If you have emissions, you have reductions, and then you try to offset each other, and you'll get your emission net reduction or net level of emissions. There's a tendency, just like the locations thing, there's a tendency to make this time frame shorter. The shortest period is by minutes, by hour. That if you want to achieve net zero, you achieved for during a year on average, or you achieved it on every hour. That's a huge difference. And technologies are very different. And I can tell you, this is ongoing discussion about the revision. I can tell you there is a tendency also make this period shorter and shorter. So this is second revision we're going to do. And to conclude my this little answer to your question, how are we going to do it? Knowing that the technology have changed, institutions have changed, the GHG protocol decided that for making this updating and this change, we need to create a new governance first, recruit expert and policymakers who understand the new trend. So last year, before we started revising these guidelines, these 3 scopes, GHG protocol decided to create a steering committee, and 15 experts from all over the world were recruited. I'm very honored to be selected, not only representing China, and among the 15 experts, there's only me from developing world. All of other experts, basically from Europe, North America, and East Asia, Japan, so I feel have a responsibility of reflecting what developing nations can contribute in making this standard. And back to the first question again, I think when we say unified standard, we should also ask unified with whom? Who made this? I think developing countries, ADB and all the participants, we should find a way to contribute this redefining, the process of redefining the GHG protocol through public consultations. So toward second half of this year, we're going to issue, I think first revised guideline will be on scope 2. I would like to see more interactive public comments, public contribution when these revisions are made public for consultation.
Thanks, Dr. Zai, for sharing this great initiative you are leading right now with other 14 distinguished members of GHG Standing Committee. Actually, I want to save time, so I want to ask Dr. Narendra, now I want to use his hat of the LACO General Manager. Net Zero Industrial Park definitely will very closely working with the power supply, the power company. From your point of view, do you think you are going to lose more business or you are going to gain more business by promoting the net zero or carbon industrial park? So this is one. So since you needed to be responsible for your company's revenue. Secondly, if the net zero carbon industrial park will be promoted in Sri Lanka, how can you support more? If your government, as you mentioned, circular economy, and you're going to support the net zero carbon industrial park as a power utility, what will be your strategy to support that?
Thank you for that question. I think basically the utility industry is also entirely changing its shape. So by and by, we are becoming not the energy traders anymore. We are going to be the network support agencies. So in time to come, our business is now in a disruptive route. So now, even though we are generating electricity and sell, in the future, we are seeing a future that we are only facilitating the local generation. So in that context, net zero industrial parks are the future for us. So I don't see it as anything negative in it. So not only these parks in the future, all the communities are going to have their own generation, but still the utilities will exist if we define ourselves proper. So that's what the utility business is going to be. But if I reiterate again, that should be within the context of circular economy. If that we are going to see fragmented manner, implementing these local communities, generating electricity for themselves, whereas some other communities still they want energy, then of course the utilities will be in a massive stress, because the costing would be entirely augmented by such fragmented implementation. So it got to be evenly implemented, number one. Number two, kilowatt hour also should be life cycle cost. Kilowatt hour should not be cost only at the point of generation. But the kilowatt hour also should be cost in life cycle, because there would be a situation where when we are not trading kilowatt hours, still we are not net flowing kilowatt hours, still there would be a lot of kilowatt hours going back and forth. During the, say for an example, net metering customer today, in his electricity bill it is 0. But he has traded a lot of kilowatt hours. During the daytime he has sold us kilowatt hours, during the night time he has bought the same amount. So for this trade, in the future, our business would be this cross trading. So during this cross trading, the life cycle costing of carbon got to be done. We also should be given part of the carbon credit, because we are the guys who are facilitating that business. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Narendra. So thanks for your positive attitude to support the net zero industrial park from the utility point of view. Now let me invite Mr. Liu Xinyi, since he is from the Green Partnership for the industrial park, and Dr. Zhang mentioned about in the future, the data transparency will be very high. You know, you need to disclose a lot of information, do a lot of accounting, and at the same time, you need to coordinate with many players in the industrial park, the tenants, the local government, all these standards, and the carbon market, like if any credit you are going to generate it. How do you, how do you clearly define this kind of emission boundaries? Because the net zero definition, and transparently or encourage your members report this information clearly to any agency they request.
好的，非常感谢主持人的问题啊。其实我觉得也是一个所有园区其实共同面对的问题，就是一方面是披露，一方面能够把各个方面的人都能聚合在一起，然后达成一个统一的共识。我觉得这方面其实，苏州工业园的经验也是各个园区经验的一个缩影，是可以分享的。就是首先，我觉得应该把各方像今天一样聚在一起，在一个桌子上面，大家来达成一个共识，分享自己的需要和需求啊，这样才能避免刚才像翟博士说的，我们的政策180度的大转弯，很多时候是由于之间没有沟通啊。然后我们应该把像 national 来国家层面的监管机构、地方的政府，还有企业、园区作为中间的协调者，把他们聚在一起，然后来分享我们大概现在的计量情况是什么样，我们的报告情况是什么样，我们的数字能够采集到什么样的精确度啊，然后在一个可行的情况下，然后让大家进行一个披露啊，避免不同方面的理解造成的这种误解。我觉得这是第一点。第二点呢，其实作为园区的这个管理者，也要发挥好自己协调的作用啊。他一方面对国家的最高的监管机构，他可能要去尽早的了解国家监管机构的政策的方向和信息，并且依据现在的现实情况去影响国家的政策，我来指导下面的企业和自己管理的这些租户怎么样来去报告自己的和披露自己的数据信息，也让出台的政策更好的能够和现实情况相匹配啊。同时，他回来见到他的地方政府，他可能也要和地方政府共同来制定切实可行的方案，来去监管这些租户。然后，对于下面的这些企业和他的这个范围内的服务商来说，可能和他们一起来寻找更好的方法啊，来进行披露，并且出台一些政策。比如松公园就有一些政策，我们来奖励披露的企业啊，来奖励披露好的企业，并且补贴它的第三方认证的一些费用啊，这都是一些方式啊。然后最后呢，时间简短，我可能还有一条比较重要的，我觉得就是数字化平台的应用啊，建立一个好的数字化的平台，并且精确到企业的在线监测的分钟级甚至秒级的数据平台，然后达到一个可追溯的、可核证的、有质量的数据。这样无论标准怎么去变，我们都能提供强有力的支撑。一方面应对产业链的这方面的需求，提供一个绿色的证明；一方面我们把数据向上反馈给我们的地方政府和国家管理者，为他们的政策制定提供一个相应的依据 啊。同时，这个平台也不光是一个收集数据的平台，其实也应该是一个反向服务，比如说企业帮助他们来核算、生成报告，帮助园区和上级单位分析不同的产业他们的排放的指标，他们排放的 benchmark 这个线在哪儿，然后能够服务，这样能够更好的让他们来支撑这个平台的运行和运转啊。谢谢。
Thank you, Xinyi. When I heard your second response, I thought maybe Dr. Zai shared his response to you, then you echoed his minutes and hourly accounting. But there's a saying in Chinese, all heroes share the same vision. So thanks a lot for you to echo each other. And now let me turn to Fengling. You have already shared your experience and your pain points interacting with the industrial park. But I want to find some views or solution from you. What would be the most effective tools or strategy for you to accelerate your company's decarbonization effort? And by doing so, you can continue to support the net zero industrial park. So that I just want to hear, in the future, how can you do better? How do you decarbonize your business? And what will be your strategy?
The first strategy, I totally agree with the previous speaker said. I have to fully discuss with the local government, like fully understand each other. So we should on the same page, on the same path, one step by one step. We cannot just, you do your way, I do my way. I only focus on the, the profit, you only focus on the policy. That's no way we can make a successfully zero carbon industrial park, no. So first thing I should say is no matter what we're going to do for the local company, we have to fully understand and discuss with local government. This is the first thing. The other thing is that for a company, we should balance the technology and the operation. So for example, for reality, there are a lot of new technology comes out. So one technology can give you one solution, the other technology give you another solution, but you only can choose one way to make your operation successfully stable. That means you cannot only focus on the technology, or you only think, okay, there are all advantages, all very wonderful features for this new technology, but you totally forget the operation. You have to generate some new idea or new way to, from the old pattern, to create a new profit or maybe decrease the carbon emission. That's the only thing that means I have to balance the new technology and the operation. The third thing is we cannot invest too much money on the first stage of the new technology in the zero carbon area. So you have to, because for example, in European, Japan, Korea, they have new technology, but sometimes they are not suitable for Chinese market. They're not suitable for the Chinese society. So you have to find your way to make your company survive with the new technology in zero carbon area. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Fengling. I think I use a buzzword we said a lot in many events called "there's no one size fits all." That's what his solution. Sounds like a very general, but it's really you pick what is the most appropriate for your business or for your policy for the industrial park development. So I think we have already go beyond the time we're allowed. I just want to check. Can we have? Okay. So no time for Q&A, and let me invite everybody to give a round of applause to our full distinguished panelists for their hard work and insights. Thank you so much. I will invite the next moderator, Dan Millison. He also has a Chinese name called Lao. Dan looks like Lao Tzu's name, and he keeps doing ADB's consultant's work and never retires. So I think he's also a tireless person. So let me invite Dan without any break. Good luck.
Thank you. I mean, was very polite. What he's really saying about how I keep doing ADB work, what he really means is that I'm old. And maybe since he was talking about how old these other guys were, I think I'm older than all of them. And maybe I'm the oldest person here. I had a professor who was really old, geology professor, and we used to tease him about how old he was, and he was still working. He said, do you want to know about the Jurassic period? I can tell you about the Jurassic period because I was there. So that's it. So next, I'm happy to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Li Chonghui, who has a very interesting presentation that I think it actually should have gone earlier in the program, but we're here now about industrial parks that I think it's a very logical and informative about how we, can take the industrial park development approach into different geographies and countries at different stages of economic development. Madam Li is the chief special expert at the China Energy Research Society, an electrical engineer by training. You can read more details in her bio. Li Chonghui.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Li Chonghui. Thanks for the invitation of ADB and the EFC. It is a great honor for me to share our perspective from key energy technologies research about low carbon industry parks in ASEAN. According to IEA World Energy Outlook 2024, global energy consumption in the industry sector accounts for over a third of total final energy consumption. Industry carbon dioxide emission makes up 44.7% of the total direct emission from unused sector. When we look at the data from ASEAN region, greenhouse gas emission from the industry sector is continued to rise historically and in the projection. So it is evident that without robust and coordinated action to reduce emissions in the industry sector, net zero emissions will remain unattainable. In the context, we studied the research on key energy technologies for developing no zero carbon industry parks in ASEAN countries, which is led by the Working Committee of International Cooperation, China Energy Research Society, with the support from Energy Foundation China. In this slide, we outlined the research methodology. The research identified three technical pathways, including controlling carbon emission, conducting carbon offset, carbon reduction and removal aligned with local conditions. We employ cluster analysis to categorize ASEAN countries based on 4 dimensions. To look into further development prospect of low zero SIPs in ASEAN, we analyze feasibility pathways, models, and final arrive at the policy recommendations. By definition, LZ SIPs are specialized industry cluster designed to maximize socio-economic output while minimizing greenhouse gas emission. A defining feature of low-zero SIPs is their self-balanced carbon emissions and absorption system, while ecology, industry activities, and human living are coordinated. Their development prioritized energy decarbonization, sustainable infrastructure, and intelligent management system. Leverage innovation and low carbon technologies to enhance carbon management and drive long-term sustainability. There are now over 2,000 industry parks across AMS, many in sectors such as manufacturers, textiles, and so on. However, ASEAN is at the exploratory stage in the green transition of industry parks. International models could offer valuable lessons. We introduced Germany and Denmark as reference case due to their best practice in the development of LZ-SIPs. China is also included as a case study owing to its mature green energy solutions for industry parks and its advanced green energy industry. These are Orif campus in Berlin, Kalundborg Eco-Industry Park in Denmark, Erdos Net Zero Park, and Pingshan campus in China. Through this case, we draw the insights as follows. Strengthen governmental planning and guidance and enhance publicities. Boost the construction of system integration capabilities. Develop low zero carbon energy system. Make full use of digital technologies. Enhance coordination and cooperation among stakeholders. There are three main technology paths to developing LZ-SIPs: emission control, carbon offsetting, carbon reduction and removal aligned with local conditions. During the planning phase, it is essential to strengthen overall park planning with a particular focus on industry economic and circular economic principle. Once operation, it is essentially to carefully examine various carbon offsetting mechanisms. Finally, for industry parks with suitable conditions, carbon removal can be achieved through the application of negative emission technologies, ecological carbon sinks, fossil and renewable energy campaign for decarbonization, and CCUS. Based on cluster analysis, AMS are classified into the following 4 types. Indonesia and the Philippines are island countries. Malaysia, Thailand, and Vietnam are export-oriented economies. Cambodia, Myanmar, and Laos PDR are resource-abundant countries. Singapore and Brunei are resource-dependent countries. Then we evaluate the level of economic development and energy demand, energy resource and electricity infrastructure conductions, and the types of industry in typical parks So we can match technology to each country category. For example, Vietnam have applied offshore wind technologies to supply green electricity to industry parks in the coastal area, whereas Indonesia could develop more distribute PV and biomass power generation facilities to support its industry parks in different islands. To look into the future of LZCIPs, it requires continuing planning, construction, and cooperation. We think there are three phases: low carbon, near zero carbon, and net zero carbon. To date, the research could not define the timeline, so we proposed 5 policy suggestions. The first, position the development of LZCIP industry parks as a core measure of regional climate governance. The second, embed low zero CIP development in national industrialization streams. The third, localize and sequence implementation pathways. The fourth, strengthening capacity building and innovation in regional cooperation. Last, boost public awareness and environment education. At last, you can get the report, scan the QR code to download the report. Thank you very much.
If there's a burning question, we could take 1 minute for a question. If not, we'll move on. Okay, now. I would add just one quick comment, the idea of the net zero, what we were talking about earlier, what's net zero? It's not just net zero emissions, it really needs to be net zero impact. So what Madam Lee mentioned, talking about the CO2 removal, greenhouse gas removal, that's where we can actually get very creative on nature-based solutions, and that's how we get to that net zero impact. Thanks very much. Junho.
Good afternoon. My name is Junho Hwang. I'm the Regional Director in ADB covering East, Central, and West Asia energy operation. So it's my honor to moderate the second panel discussion of this afternoon. I think we still have one question that all of you have to pose on this topic: how we can, our technology and finance can help deploy the net zero industrial park, replicate or scale up in other countries. So with that topic in mind, I want to invite our 4 distinguished panel members from the areas of the technology and finance. Let me provide a quick introduction of our 4 panel members. Our first member is Mr. Li Qiang, Chongqing Carbon Consultant and Management Technology Company. Mr. Li Qiang brings over a decade of experience in policy research and project consulting related to climate change and low carbon development. And he has participated and led more than 30 national, international collaborative in this area. Let me also then invite our second panel member, Mr. Zhan Xu. Alternative Executive Director of Asian Development Bank, who was appointed in ADB in August 2024. Mr. Zhang brings over 20 years of experience with the Ministry of Finance in the People's Republic of China, and went through various positions over his long career, including the Deputy Director in the Minister's Office, and the last position as the Director in the International Department of the Ministry of Finance. Our third panel member is Mr. Xun Donglai, CEO of Shanghai Maxtropy Data Technology Company. He brings impressive background in the academia, research, and industry in the area of AI technology. And he is a recipient of several awards. Our next panel member is Ms. Duan Shumai, Director General of the Department of the International Green Finance and Cooperation in China National Investment and Guarantee Corporation. She brings also, again, more than 20 years of experience in green finance, and she has been involved in designing and implementing of several projects. She's been a champion of the successful implementation of a 2 ADB finance program on the air quality improvement in the greater BTH program. So before we start, let's invite a big round of applause for our distinguished panel members. So as I floated earlier, we want to ask one question to our panel members. How the technology and finance from your expertise area can help accelerating deployment of the net zero industrial park. So with the question, I want to ask and hear from the 2 experts from the technical side, followed by the 2 experts on the finance. So with that, let me first invite our first speaker, Mr. Li Qiang. You are the forefront in the carbon management area. So I want to listen to your perspective, how our industrial park in the PRC can enhance the carbon emission tracking and verification system to align with both national and then international standards. Mr. Li.
OK， 我就用汉语来回答你这个问题哈。因为这个零碳园区建设呢，从2024年就纳入了我们这个在中央经济工作会的时候就提及，然后也在2025年纳入了我们的这个政府工作报告。从这个 MRV 的角度来讲呢，就是追踪整个园区的一个碳排放以及核正，来应对这个来满足我们的这个碳达峰、碳中和目标，以及应对这个 CBAM 还有这个欧盟碳足迹等这个贸易壁垒的角度来讲，我从3个方面来阐述一下我的观点。第一个呢，就是针对于零碳园区来支撑我们的这个碳达峰、碳中和的目标这个角度。因为这个我们在“12·5”期间，中国就建立了这个碳强度下降的这个相关的一些政策。我们已经建立了区域层级的这个相关的一些碳排放的核算标准。尤其是针对我们省级的、直辖市级的以及还有地级市相关的一些碳强度的一些核算标准。另外呢，在这个从企业层级我们也建立了这个因为这个碳排放权交易因为我所在的城市是重庆我们在2013年就建立了针对于为了满足碳排放权交易市场的这个针对企业层级的碳排放的核算体系 这个呢就是，但是从园区层级的来讲的话，我们目前比较缺乏。这个在去年印发的这个全国家发改委印发的这个碳排放双控制度里边也提及了，就是我们要建立地方碳考核、行业碳管控、这个企业碳管理、项目碳评价，包括产品碳足迹，但是里边没有涉及到园区的这个相关层面的碳排放的一个核算的体系。这个原因呢，我想主要是因为基础数据比较薄弱。但是我们也看到，我们这么多年也在这个开展各个层级的园区层面的这个近零碳低碳、近零碳，以及现在的这个净零碳园区的一些这个试点工作。但我们在我们的试点工作里边呢，其实都将这个园区的碳排放核算体系以及能碳平台作为一个重要的核心指标放在里边。我想随着我们这个下一步，可能我们国家发改委也要出台这个我们这个全国层面的近零碳的这个零碳园区的试点。刚才我们李所长也提到了，这样呢，我相信我们这个通过这个试点工作呢，也会推进我们这个园区层面的这个碳排放的一个核算工作。这是第一个层面。第二个层面就是关于零碳园区，应对我们这个碳足迹的这个 CBAM 以及这个我们这个欧盟电池法案等这种绿色贸易壁垒的层面。我觉得从我的这个角度来看呢，我是觉得我们从这个碳市场这个角度，我们因为园区内的很多从企业层面，我们国家建立了我们这个1+8的这个碳排放权交易的这样的一个交易体系，依旧是我们全国碳市场，还有我们8个地方的碳排放权交易市场。我所在的城市呢是重庆，我们是把所有的5000吨标准煤、13000吨二氧化碳以上的工业企业纳入了我们这个碳排放权交易市场。我们全国碳市场呢也纳入了这个 CBAM 里边这个4大行业也就是我们的这个电力、钢铁、电解铝以及这个水泥除了这个化肥和氢能没在里边，这个我们其他的这个4个行业都在里边。这样呢，我想虽然说我们现在国家的这个全国碳市场这个碳价目前还属于跟欧盟相比还是一个比较低的水平，但是我想随着我们这个碳市场以及我们这个金融就是碳金融的一个发展，会逐步的这个应该这个对我们这个应对这个 CBAM 还是有一定的作用。这是这个针对这个 CBAM 这个角度。另外的话，针对产品碳足迹这个角度来讲的话，我们国家也非常重视这个出台了这个推进碳足迹的一些工作方案。我们现在也在加快制定这个各个产品的一个产品碳足迹的一个量化方法和指南，以及这个碳足迹背景数据库的一些建设。这块呢，我想随着我们这个相关工作制度体系的逐渐完善，也会有利于推动我们这个相关的工作。这个相关工作，我想其实零碳园区作为一个载体是可以提前可以做出一些试点示范工作。第3个层面呢，我是觉得就是零碳园区刚才我们也有专家提到，零碳园区的作用到底是它是作为一个目标，还是作为一个手段？我想这个我们之前也支撑了一个碳达峰、碳中和的一个顶层设计。我起码认为，从我的角度，我认为零碳园区建设目前不应该作为一个目标，而是作为一个手段。因为我们国家在推动全国这个3060目标的时候，也提到了先立后破以及这个分领域、分步骤的推进碳达峰、全国一盘棋这样的一些概念。那我们相当于全国一盘棋，我觉得目前我们零碳园区要解决的更多的是这个以新能源为主体的多元的一个电力系统的一个建设，这样来支撑我们这个逐步向这个碳达峰、碳中和目标这样来演进。所以呢，从这个核算的这个角度来讲的话，我想零碳园区下一步更多的一个重点工作就是除了这个就是我们园区本身企业内部的一些碳排放核算工作以外，我已经比较成熟了。从园区层面，我们应该推进我们园区像类似于能源基础设施 以及我们的一些相关供辅设施的一些自有的一些产品碳足迹的，这不是自有的一个排放因子的一些相关的建设，这样来更准确的支持我们入园企业的一些碳排放核算这样提升它的绿色竞争力。第二个呢，就是我觉得应该通过零碳园区的试点，能够建立我们的园区层面的碳排放核算体系，来支撑我们下一步推进从全国层面推进园区层面的考核工作，建立一个基础。好，谢谢。
Thank you very much, Mr. Lee. So we heard that the carbon credit market is a great incentive to help, maintain the, set the standard and, roll out the net zero industrial park, and including the hard-to-abate sector. It would be a great incentive to, accelerate the decarbonization. So thank you for your insight. Now let me invite our next experts from the AI technology, Mr. Shun Dong-nai. So from your perspective, we'd like to hear how AI can be deployed at scale in the industrial park to achieve the measurable decarbonization.
Okay, thank you very much for this very good question. And I would like to answer this question in English. However, I see most of our audience are Chinese, so maybe I will change back to Chinese language, and I think our translators can translate my answer very well to our international audience. Yeah. So 我刚刚讲说，可能我还看上去咱们在座更多的是咱们中国人啊，所以我就换成中文来回答了。对，那么这个问题是个非常好的问题，就是 AI 到底对于我们这个能源系统的转型，对于我们讲的零碳园区有什么样的价值？其实我可以举一个非常简单的例子，就是我们服务过的这个工业企业和园区。就举一个例子，就是这个工业企业在向绿色能源转型的过程当中，其实它是从一个相对简单的集中式的能源供给模式，就是电网供电的这种模式，切换到了一个其实更复杂的，包含了光伏、储能，包含了可调度的负荷，包含了工厂内部的生产工艺调整的一个复杂模式。也就意味着说，其实反而是传统的集中式的非绿色的、非零碳的能源是简单的，我们新的能源系统是更复杂的，而且随着这些工业园区、工厂的这个减碳的途径持续的向前推进，它的这个碳排放持续的减少，它的能源系统的复杂度是必然上升的，因为绿色能源一定是波动性的、不可预测性的、难以调度的。那么也就意味着在这件事情上，我们的工厂和园区有没有做好准备，说我们有一些成熟的工程师来调整和优化这些绿色能源呢？我可以给一个非常明确的答案：没有，也不可能有，因为这些工厂本身它也要更专注于它自己的工艺流程，而不会说把能源作为一个它额外增加的，甚至是在能源这一上去雇佣一个很高级的工程师的这种状态。那也就意味着说，他们想要用好绿色的零碳的能源，就必然需要人工智能和数字化系统的帮助而我们也看到了说，我们服务的这个园区从没有零碳能源到现在有几十个兆瓦、60几个兆瓦的光伏70几个兆瓦时的储能，然后到它自身的工艺调整和这种可调整能源、可调整负荷的这种动态调度的能力达到超过10%的这个负荷强度。这个过程当中，其实数字化和我们讲 AI 是扮演了非常非常重要的一个角色的。所以我能看到的未来其实是一个数字化、智能化，就是人工智能和绿色能源系统互相耦合、达成闭环的这样一种互相持续推进的这种状况。那么随着可再生能源越来越便宜，人工智能一定会越来越多的被应用到我们的工业园区里面去，帮助让这个可再生能源和绿色能源变得更便宜、更稳定，也更能服务于我们的工业产业的降本增效和稳定供给。所以在这件事上，人工智能和我们讲绿色能源、零碳园区，它是一个互相扶持、互相推进的这样一种闭环的结构。好吧，我的回答就到这儿，谢谢。Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Definitely, AI is an emerging technology. I think this will be a great tool to help all of us accelerate the transformation and make it sustainable, or even improve our, decarbonization effort. So I will look forward to your continued leadership on advancing the AI technology. So now we are switching to the financial side. Let me invite Ms. Duan first. From your experience, how can innovative financing arrangement like a guarantee, blended financing solution can reduce the risk of the the risk perception and invite the private sector to accelerate the deployment of the net zero industry and decarbonization effort.
Thanks, Junhong, for the introduction. 我想说呢，就是说，这个零碳这个工业园区的一个建设，那么我觉得一个非常好的一个这个方向，非常好的这样的一个课题，大家从政策方向，从这个技术方向，等等这些都在觉着它这个方向是正确的，技术也有，市场也有。但是呢，说到我这边是一个金融，那么我觉着金融在这里面一定是一个非常重要的一个问题。实际上，我们正在跟亚行的一个主权贷款呢，正在实施这个京津冀区域大邱染防治的一个项目，刚才总务介绍了。那这个呢项目呢是利用了多种的这种金融工具，那是有投资，有就是委托贷款。有担保，有主权，有这个股权投资，综合了多种工具呢，来支持这个相关的这个早期的一些技术啊，还有这些那个低碳的技术的这样的项目的一些实施。那它的这个里面呢，这也就能够我们大约现在已经实施到第8年，取得了一些不论是在节能减排上，还这个相关的这个二氧化碳的减排，已经取得了相当好的一些成绩。那这个体现到跟这个咱们这个零碳园区建设里面呢，有一个什么样的一个结合呢？我们应该是好多年以前已经在这个零碳园区，是低碳园区，我们原来叫 low carbon park 里面去做了一些，里面发现了这个里面，我们支持过里面的这个就是减碳，就是降碳的来去做这个热蒸汽，然后我们也来去给它制造新的一些能源，通过那个 solar 来去做这个新的能源，也来去做这个园区的那个垃圾处理、生化处理去做新能源。那么会发现它这个早期的这个低碳这个领域里技术投资，其实它有这个技术成熟不成熟，还有这个投资期回收期比较长这些问题，这个呢也是这个低碳园区或者是近碳园区里面的这样的投资的一些挑战。那我们现在发现，就是随着这个时间的进展，那整个的这个从原来的这个政策性的这个驱动，现在已经转向了这个市场和我们现在的技术驱动，那么给了我们一个机会。那么我们觉着，我们可以把我们正在实施的这个亚行里的这样的一些就是这个金融工具一并引入到这个零碳园里的建设，那么提供这个我们这个新的这样子的一个综合的一个金融服务。那么它的定制呢，它不仅能够给这个里面的，我们说会根据这个那个零碳园区，它这个技术由谁来实施，负债加在谁的身上，它的财务状况，还有它的回收期的一些等等的一些要求，我们能够提供出来一个适合这个项目实施来去这个负债能够可持续的这样的一个项目的投资，来去给它提供一个这个更符合项目实施的这样的一个金融支持方案吧。所以我们想说的是说，利用该股权投资，该债权投资，还可以去提供一些担保，从公开市场上给它募集成本更低，更期限更长的一些资金，来支持符合我们低碳园区这种技术的实施，提供定制金融服务。Thank you.
Thank you. I have to say that we have seen the track record of your institution has done to accelerate the deploying the advanced technology, and I think your role in the finance green finance area will continue to be very important to help accelerating the, mobilizing the and expanding the net zero technology industrial park. So that leads to our last question to our last panel member. As a member of the ADB, and then also the as a part of the multilateral development bank industry, we would like to hear your advice, Mr. Zhang Xu. What ADB and MDB can do to help other countries to scale up the investment in the net zero industries.
Thank you, Junhong. I think it's a really good opportunity for me to be here to have this kind of the knowledge sharing event, because even though here most of them are Chinese audience, but I think it's really important for us to have South-South knowledge sharing. So I choose to speak English. So my point is three keywords. The first keyword is with always I. So the first keyword is increasing capital with de-risking tools. The second I is innovation with right business model. The third I is implication with knowledge sharing platforms. So this is what ADB and MDB's role here. So first point is increasing capital with de-risking tools. I think really important for ADB or other MDBs as board members, we always push ADB not only utilize sovereign loans, private sector loans, but also explore other local currencies, asset-based securitization products, as well as PPP tools. This can, diversify the risks, and all the technology-driven zero carbons, parkings or other, areas in this is full of risks. We all know China's zero carbon development in this sector is full of broad war. So I think it's really difficult for the only entrepreneurs stand there to respond for their children's life. So I think it's important for government and for MDB, especially ADB, to take a key role here. This is the first point. Second point is innovation. For the net zero carbon industry park, this is to be sector. We all see in China or in other DMCs, to see business is really easy to have some skill, in fact. But for to be, even the software in China, you do AI, right? I think really difficult to make profit, make demand, right? So I think also we can see from the listed market, the market value for the clean energy enterprise is very low, and they are really difficult to have less demand and cash flows. So I think really important is find a good business model, not to rely on government subsidy. It's lucky that Chinese subsidy policy has changed from more the downstream to medium and upstream. So our central government is more and more give subsidy to the R&D. This is good for our really technology innovation to make this area to be very cost efficient, very competitive in the international markets. And final point for this I is, I think net zero carbon should be integrated with AI, with digitalizations. So green and digitalization is like the two wings of our business. Otherwise, if no assistance of AI, no assistance of digitalization, this net zero carbon development will be failure. The third point is, last point, I want to do advertisements for my role here, because I think knowledge dissemination and this implementation is really important. So we have a regional RKSI, Regional Knowledge South-South Cooperation Platform, and also we have PRC Fund, which is important for enhanced capacity for other DMCs and share our knowledge, even very painful practice to other DMCs. So in conclusion, increase capital with de-risking tools from MDBs, and real innovation with right business models, and have enhanced implications for other DMCs. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. John Xu. So I think you have very succinctly summarized ADB's mandate. It's a great reminder to our team, including myself, and assurance to the audience that ADB and MDB should do, providing the financing, innovation, and the knowledge sharing to bridge all the important players. So with that, I really appreciate your insight. We are running out of time. So let me open the floor if any audience have any burning question to ask our panel members. Otherwise, I would like to wrap up our very interesting panel discussion. And I want to invite all of you to give a big round of applause for our panel members. Thank you. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and we still have 2 more sessions. One is for the MOU signing and also the closing remarks. So now it's my pleasure to welcome you to the MOU signing ceremony between the Asian Development Bank and the Suzhou Industry Park Administrative Committee. This milestone marks the beginning of a promising collaboration to explore product opportunities, strengthen capacity building, and deepen knowledge sharing to support the development of the zero carbon industry parks. We are also honored to have Energy Foundation China with us, whose valuable facilitation helped make this partnership possible. Now, let's welcome Senior Sector Director Priyanka Vijayatunga on behalf of the Asian Development Bank, Mr. Cai Jianjun on behalf of Suzhou Industry Park Administrative Committee to be on the stage. And also, let's welcome Executing Director Liu Weihua and Director General Hideaki Iwasaki, Director Junhong Huang, and Professor Zhou Ji, Director Huiyong Zhang, and Director Han Wei to be on the stage as well to witness the MOU signing. Okay. then the last photo. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. So at last, we'd like to invite Director General Hideaki Iwasaki to make the closing remarks. Yeah.
Distinguished guests, colleagues, and partners, as we conclude today's deep dive workshop, I want to express my sincere appreciation to all of you for your time, your insights, and your unwavering commitment to accelerating the clean energy transition in Asia and the Pacific. A lot has been discussed, so I'm not going to go into the details of the rich discussion we had, but I really appreciate the experiences shared from the PRC and other countries in which one thing was abundantly clear. Net zero carbon industrial parks are not just a vision for the future, but they are a reality taking shape today. They represent a dynamic frontier where clean energy, industrial innovation, and environmental responsibility converge. And all the insights and lessons shared, I think on our part, it's our responsibility to share those with other DMCs. And in that, we'll be playing the role of an honest broker, solutions provider, knowledge partner, and also a bank. We are committed to helping other DMCs and PRC working together build enabling environments, catalyze private investment, and develop replicable and bankable models for net zero carbon parks. We just witnessed the signing of the MOU. This is a very significant step for us, and we would like to further explore project opportunities and co-develop capacity building initiatives and share lessons that can benefit the broader region. Let me once again thank the Energy Foundation China and the Beijing Green Finance Association for co-hosting this workshop with ADB and for your steadfast partnering in advancing clean energy solutions. Finally, I would like to thank all the speakers, panelists, participants for your valuable contributions. We got a lot of insights and we established a lot of connections. These will be instrumental as we strive together to build net zero, resilient, and inclusive energy systems across the region. Let us carry forward the momentum from this workshop and from the broader ACEF 2025 to translate ideas into action and ambition into impact. Thank you, and I look forward to continuing our collaboration in the months and years ahead.
The last thing is just a reminder, just leave the translation earphone on the seat. And also tomorrow, the forum will be closed. So hope everyone have a safe journey back tomorrow. And today's workshop accomplished. Thank you.